You know the vibe. Huh? You know the vibe. You know the vibe. I'm really outside. I'm really outside. Them man fools one time I got Nick 419. Aye, you know the vibe.
So, however your mind is gonna work, however anything is gonna work in your life is gonna be based on the definition that you were given by things that you didn't even choose. So what Spark Nation or Nation Family did or is doing is very simple. We're just saying we can have our own word and define our own things.
Yes, sir.
You don't know you're poor if you're among poor people. I need you to write that down, because as easy as it is, it's important. You don't know you're poor if you're among poor people. So a person that has actually chosen the focus, there is no time, because you've already seen the hand.
Them men, they can't do what we do. How many times do my blood spill on the ground? Both dealers were the talk of the town. The fool that left, but you know.
Look how far we came, don't be fooled by this trip. I was grinding in the rain, yeah.
So, what defined fathers of the first revival in Italy there were houses. That's what the father should have established first. And within those houses, what the father would do is he would raise instructors.
If we're going to see the fineness of a person, it's going to be because they first of all selected to be vulnerable to someone. And
Fathering is investment too, because their wrong or right behavior will then have repercussions. A father must be willing to invest in that, to say no, but if your son is in trouble, done something wrong, what do you do?
The onus is on him to learn. And sometimes as pastors, you want to reach out to people, and you start by reaching out to people, I think, bringing them in, but then there becomes a point where the onus is on them to learn rather than on you to teach.
Mommy thinks I'm a star, they see I've come this far, but don't understand my pain, Look how far we came, don't be fooled by this trip. I was grinding in the rain,
When you find such men out of system is then, because you can have high hopes and expectation for your life, and you should, but then it should be brought to a table where it is not just scrutinized, it is measured.
Reasons why I was excited about this conversation, because to actually grow in life is not many details. It's not complicated at all.
Right.
It's actually very simple. And then also mannerisms will be there as well, because you will meet your leaders, your pastors, and how they carry themselves. If you're able to be keen, you would also then grow into that as well.
The value of a man is going to be based on his progressive, not momentary, progressive relevance at every stage of their life.
You know the vibe. You know the vibe. I'm really outside. I'm really outside. Them man fools one time I got Nick 419. Aye, you know the vibe. I'm really outside.
Because, when we talk about hope, we're also talking about what the mind can see, hear, and speak.
So the mind is stronger than the body. As much as someone can train themselves to be heavyweight boxer, the man who will still be in charge is the man who has a mind that is built up. Then I had learned a boring life will lead you to a successful life. So it says, go home, go live boring, and meet these guys years after. Success is for keen minds. Keen, you have to be keen-minded. So it will take the 1% to look through and say, okay, I see all these LVs and all these Primark one, whichever one. I see all of this. However, I still want to know this person.
You know the vibe. You know the vibe. I'm really outside. I'm really outside. Them man fools one time I got Nick 419. Aye, you know the vibe. I'm really outside.
Depending on where you want to get to, if you don't quit, if you have a big vision,
Yeah.
you're always going to have to struggle for something.
Yeah.
And I think even if you don't have a big vision, you're still going to fight in life anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we were analyzing this yesterday. The world will break you.
If I'm a young person, what are my daily fights? Of course, the first one is fighting to follow a leader. But in that arena now,
Yeah.
that I'm in, what are my fights gonna be in that arena?
It's going to be the same fight you face every day.
Okay.
The reason why we're establishing apprenticeship as first
Yes, sir.
is if you don't have that, you will choose the wrong fight.
Okay.
Or you will be fighting for the wrong reasons.
Back then, used to kick down heads, that's holes in chests. It's meant. You know the vibe, huh? You know the vibe, you know the vibe. I'm really outside, I'm really outside. Them man fools, one time I got nicked, 419. Aye, you know the vibe.
So, however your mind is going to work, however anything is going to work in your life is going to be based on the definition that you were given by things that you didn't even choose. So, what Spark Nation or Nation Family did or is doing is very simple. We're just saying we can have our own word and define our own things.
Yes, sir.
You don't know you're poor if you're among poor people. I need you to write that down because as easy as it is, it's important. You don't know you're poor if you're among poor people. So a person that has actually chosen the focus, there is no time because you've already seen the hand.
Them man, they can't do what we do. How many times do my blood spill on the ground? Dope dealers were the talk of the town. The fool that left, but you know.
Look how far we came, don't be fooled by this drip. I was grinding in the rain, yeah.
So, what defined fathers of the first revival in Italy there were houses. That's what the father should have established first. And within those houses, what the father would do is he would raise instructors.
If we're going to see the fineness of a person, it's going to be because they first of all selected to be vulnerable to someone. And
Fathering is investment too because their wrong or right behavior will then have they have repercussions. A father must be willing to invest in that, to say, no, yeah, but if your son is in trouble or done something wrong, what do you do?
On the onus is on him to learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes as pastors, you want to reach out to people, and you start by reaching out to people, I think, bringing them in, but then there becomes a point where the onus is on them to learn rather than on you to teach.
Yeah.
Mommy thinks I'm a star, they see I've come this far, but don't understand my pain, yeah. I'll never... Look how far we came, don't be fooled by this drip. I was grinding in the rain, yeah.
When you find such men out of system is then, because you can have high hopes and expectations for your life, and you should, but then it should be brought to a table where it is not just scrutinized, it is measured.
Reasons why I was excited about this conversation, because to actually grow in life is not many details. It's not complicated at all.
Right.
It's actually very simple. And then also mannerisms will be there as well, because you will meet your leaders, your pastors, and how they carry themselves. If you're able to be keen, you would also then grow into that as well.
The value of a man is going to be based on his progressive, not momentary, progressive relevance at every stage of their life.
Don't be fooled by this drip. I was grinding in the rain, yeah. I made a promise to God last night. I said
You know the vibe, I'm really outside, Them man fools, one time I got nicked, 419. Aye, you know the vibe, I'm really outside.
Because, when we talk about hope, we're also talking about what the mind can see, hear, and speak.
So the mind is stronger than the body. As much as someone can train themselves to be heavyweight boxer, the man who will still be in charge is the man who has a mind that is built up. Then I had learned a boring life will lead you to a successful life. So it says, go home, go live boring, and meet these guys years after. Success is for keen minds. Keen, you have to be keen-minded. So it will take the 1% to look through and say, okay, I see all these LVs and all these Primark one, whichever one. I see all of this. However, I still want to know this person.
You know the vibe, I'm really outside, Them man fools, one time I got nicked, 419. Aye, you know the vibe, I'm really outside.
Depending on where you want to get to, if you don't quit, if you have a big vision, you're always going to have to struggle for something. And I think even if you don't have a big vision, you're still going to fight in life anyways. We were analyzing this yesterday. The world will break you.
If I'm a young person, what are my daily fights? Of course, the first one is fighting to follow a leader, but in that arena now, that I'm in, what are my fights going to be in that arena?
It's going to be the same fight you face every day.
Okay.
The reason why we're establishing apprenticeship as first is if you don't have that, you will choose the wrong fight.
Okay.
Or you will be fighting for the wrong reasons.
Back then, it's a kid down heads, that's holding chest.
morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. They're on holiday, innit? It's been a weekend, so I agree.
Good morning to everybody. I'll wait so that we can do the greetings and then the comments. This doesn't look like it's really done. Okay, we see them coming in now. You can see the comments coming in live and direct. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know everybody must be amped from the service we just had just yesterday. The first Sunday service, physical Sunday service we've had since COVID, so about a year plus since we've had service, and it was really, really good to see a lot of different faces, a lot of different people, new, some old, but we're going to talk about that a bit more later. I just would welcome you, PT,
Thank you.
this morning, and then also hear from you. How did you feel about yesterday's service?
It was awesome. I think we had a great time, and I think we'll let you guys talk about how you feel. We'll bring out special moments because I had to send a message in the group yesterday because I know normally you remember those days when we have service, then I'm back on Periscope at night to do the review. So volume is low. They said, I mean, we can read. Someone is saying, what is it? Pastor Mo is saying. So we'll be on Periscope to discuss the service and talk about it. So I know people will be itching yesterday to say, how do I have a voice to talk about this service, you know? So, good morning, sir. Pastor Sam's microphone is low. There is interference. Pastor Sam's mic isn't on. Okay. We can wait till that is resolved. Okay, well, since mine is working, there is a buzzing sound in the background. Okay. I'm sure everything will be fixed in a moment. The doctor is here, so our doctors are here. Well, can you hear me well? Can you tell me? Someone needs to tell me what I sound like. Is there interference with mine? Okay, I'm reading comment. I know, Kim, you can't wait to talk, which is beautiful, and we want to hear from you. We can hear you clearly, PT. Okay, so, yeah. So I just we want to hear your own highlights. We're going to talk about this service a lot. We have somewhere we're going with this, though.
Yeah.
We've got a point for the podcast today, but the buzzing is also gone. Okay, cool. Yes, sir. If you don't
Yes,
speak,
sir.
they won't know. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, highlights, high points for you in the service, or the what stood out to you or what stands out to you. We want to hear from you. We want to discuss. I want you to have a voice.
I was also thinking yesterday, where would we find the review forum? Because when I was driving home, I was thinking it's like it needed a Periscope forum for you to come and recount.
I know.
Where we can do the reviews and talk about the moments in the service that stood out to people as well. So I think we have to do it online today.
Yeah.
Like Pastor Kim just said now, altar call being the highlight for her. And I know that will be the highlight for many people as well.
And the funny thing about that highlight is in our leadership meeting or program meeting, we've already said we're not going to do altar call. As in, it was concluded because we didn't want that. We didn't want people to move close because of security. We didn't want any rough atmosphere, so to speak. So it was already decided. But then Ashley started singing with the Livingstone, "Let hope rise, darkness trembles in your holy light." And you can feel the atmosphere was just for that. So I knew God was saying, now you've got to put in the sickle, either for one person or stuff. But it looked to me like people were just waiting.
They were just waiting for
that moment.
And I think as well, those souls that came back some would have had an idea of exactly who the nation was, and they did just come
They're
for
changing Pastor Sam's voice again. Seeing the souls just reminded me of who we are. That's very true, though. Highlight is seeing the soul in tears, saying, "I'm so happy to be here, happy to be back. Service hasn't even started yet." Wow. Now that's powerful, though. That's powerful.
Enough, looking at that comment, it was about 11 o'clock in the auditorium, and seats were just being filled up.
Yeah.
The seats were just, and we were just asking people. I thought maybe the flyer would have said 11 a.m. start or something, because by the first time
people are here.
People are here first. Before the start of the service, the first half of the auditorium was already filled up. People waiting just to see the service start.
Wow. People were flooding to this, so that we don't miss this comment, flooding to the altar in tears. The altar call was, and the word pity left us on a cliffhanger. Livingstone moved people's heart. Very true, though.
Yes, sir.
Not really moved people's heart. We were looking for a concluding. If that was not a Sunday, the atmosphere was so right for the word. That word there would have gone on for time, and we would have pieces the whole place. But it was just the right time. One girl didn't even wait for you to finish speaking. She just got up and went for the altar call. Amazing. Altar call was an intense wave of healing right from the back. The energy was indescribable. Amazing. It was beautiful. People were in so early. That's amazing. I didn't even know that part, though.
Yeah, people were in so early.
Wow.
And I agree with this comment. The details from the welcome team, hospitality, to New Gen Cypher, to the altar call, everything was actually beautiful.
Amazing. The highlight for me was seeing the setup in the morning, and then seeing families, soldiers, and souls coming through the door once again. That would have been so surreal, though. Yeah, it would have been so surreal. A young man told me that he urgently needs leadership after hearing the testimonies yesterday, and is now desperate to join Power Base family. Well, how do you know it's Power Base that needs to be joined? Yeah, exactly, to join Power Base. The way that came through is so funny. He said he's now desperate. He didn't even say he's desperate to join the nation. But that's beautiful. That's beautiful. People are saying they want mentorship, which is what we're about to talk about this morning, though. But not without the comment. It's gone again. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I'll keep reading till Pastor Sam's one is restored. Altar call was my favorite, really touched me. It was touching, though, from where I stood, especially when we said we're not going to have altar call. And we realize we can't just decide what we will be or not. God is the one who makes us what we need to be. Protocol department looked like CIA levels have changed. Yes, they were visible but invisible. It's beautiful. My souls loved it, and they were excited to connect with some of the leaders. Beautiful. Can't forget Hope Dealers, though I think we were late. No, let me tell you, I wanted to comment about Hope Dealers on a very, very serious note. Doctor, would you get us that video at some point? Hope Dealers' performance yesterday. Can we get it played? We have it. We cut it out. Yeah. That performance there, we were saying that I'm so proud to be part of the Nation family, Pastor Mo, man. The reunion was surreal. Very. I'll comment about Hope Dealers so that I don't miss these comments. I wanted us to discuss back and forth. This is our forum where my souls won the giveaway and really connected with Pastor Kim. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Seeing everyone felt like no time had passed. It was so surreal. That's completely right, Pastor Gani. Yeah. Everything was awesome from the Phoebe's breakfast. I actually got to that breakfast, yeah, and it looked like there was church happening there. I couldn't even get in. I couldn't get in, so we stood outside because the Phoebes have messed the place up. Like, imagine turning Hy-Vee to like some revival ground. As in outside, there were people, there was queue. So I thought I didn't even need to get in. I just need to see it. Then I saw this monstrous bus couch outside, amazing, packed full, and that's where they did the Beacon giveaway inside the bus. When the videos are out, I think it's gonna be an awesome sight, really. Yeah, Barrow started us off right, very perfect. 2G choir were amazing. I'm gonna miss that comment. 2G choir were amazing. I think there's a way you can pull it back down, right? Because you just put it up. Oh, it wasn't you, it's the system. Okay. I missed that. Someone just summed up something and I've missed it, but it's fine. Maybe she would be kind enough to resend it. Please do it again, Pastor Remy. Pastor Chris said, highlight for me was seeing the whistles jumped up when Hope Dealers came on. I can't believe it. I thought you guys have changed, as in people have changed. They haven't. It's just the Hope Dealers thing was just like the worship, the praise and worship. Guys, fix this thing quick. I'm the only one talking. Hope Dealers jumped and came on. There was one particular guy who stood up for the whole set and knew all the lyrics. I was actually in awe. It's serious. I was looking around to say, guys, you didn't do praise and worship like we did praise and worship, but you didn't. That's their praise and worship. And that's why we keep saying, imagine Hope Dealers didn't do we're back or we're inside or something. We're outside. Yeah, sorry, we're outside. Imagine you didn't do that song because you're thinking, they didn't promote it. They didn't. No, it's for somebody. We're missing a lot of comment because I'm the only one. Then it was a stellar performance from Hope Dealers. My souls said they want a Spark concert. It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. Meryl started us off right. That's right. She's back. Thank you. 2G choir were amazing. Pastor Enrique jumping off stage. Well, the best part was altar call. They just kept coming. They kept coming. We couldn't stop the altar call. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Love the takeover after also. I've not seen videos of it at all. The habit department sent me nothing. I think they just think I should imagine that it happened. So imagination is enough. I didn't see one, not one. Not one. I heard it, but the department that is supposed to send it, maybe they were tired. One guy that went up for the altar call, he recorded the whole of Dealer's performance. He was so excited. Amazing. The Nando's takeover was beautiful also. We connected with many souls. That's the special thing about you guys, man. Nando's takeover with Soul Snatchers. The Nando's takeover. Now I'm hearing Nando's takeover. Nando's takeover. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I think, again, not Abby. I think it's the, what's that Ghana girl's name now? Labelle, them people, they didn't send me nothing. The dancers were so lit, and dancers too. You guys did amazing. So I sent you the takeover. Yeah, but if I see video from you, I won't open it. So I won't think. I'll think, why is Kim sending me video? What's going on? Yesterday was awesome. LSN was fire, and this was Hope Dealer's best performance. I agree. I agree. Hope Dealers did awesome. Are you back? No. Charlie and Will brought an influx of white people, plus Kelly, I must say. Loved it. My 8 and 12-year-old sisters went up to the altar yesterday. Praise God. That is beautiful. It was lovely to see. It was very, very lovely to see. So I'll read something here to you guys. We're still reading comment. As you remember about the service, we actually deliberately need this. I won't call it feedback, but this chat. We need it to discuss. So I got this message yesterday. It says, honestly, sir, what an amazing day. You won't believe what happened today. So imagine, I'm just reading the text. So imagine the person that stabbed me years ago when I nearly died. Pastor Binta brought him to church today. Binta always just gets some people, man. But thank you, Binta. You're special. Pastor Binta brought him to church today, and I saw him for the first time in 7 years. We spoke and hugged, and there was just so much love between us. It was strange. Going to be meeting him this week. I never thought I'd see him, especially in the nation. Imagine that's Pastor Enrique.
Wow.
So you know the popular story of Pastor Enrique. I think everything works to purpose. And when you see these things, you're thinking this is what God has already planned. So that's Pastor Enrique. The popular story of how Pastor Enrique was stabbed, hospitalized. Imagine he's performing in church, he's the pastor of a church, and the person comes to church.
Yeah, and you know those things, it's almost as if you can't write this story and you can never get familiar with it as well.
True.
When I'm even looking at all the reviews that are there, I think there would have been no reason for a Pastor Enrique to see someone like that again.
Yeah.
Unless he had been a pastor in the nation for so many years, and then they would meet him along the way when he's deep inside of purpose.
Yeah.
So for even the gentleman probably seeing him perform and the kind of song he performed as well yesterday as well, it would have all been. It would have all made sense. So honestly, and I think I was saying this to Pastor Kim and the guys a couple of weeks ago when we're preparing for this service. When you look at the Nation family and you look at the kind of people in the Nation family and the things that we saw yesterday from the Livingstone 2G as well.
Yeah, Livingstone's 2G.
Yeah, Livingstone 2G coming with such energy and
they
passion.
Did great.
They did really, really good.
Yeah.
You can't believe what God continues to do with the Nation family. It never gets old, and it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Very true.
So
very true.
I was seeing also the remix to Thank You. The Thank You remix was also done yesterday as well, and there was so many different diverse talents on show at the same time. So I was saying with Pastor Onyi yesterday that there was an aura about the service.
Yeah.
People came from the beginning of the service anticipating what this is going to be like. You could see we were doing the sound check with Livingstone, and there were literally rows of people just watching the sound check thinking, okay, what is this?
Yeah,
when are we gonna get started?
Yeah.
I'm eager for this. As in, they were just looking at the front. There was no looking around, not even much conversation, just looking at the front saying, okay, I'm liking the warm up. When are you guys getting started? You know, it was really surreal. I mean, we keep saying and we keep seeing more from the breakfast of the lineup, but then we keep seeing more as people coming to church, sitting down hours before, and just waiting for
I
service
hope
to
that's
start.
on camera, though.
You
I
know.
hope the Mrs. Labelles took videos of that. I'm sure they will. Those are moments. But yeah.
So,
Sir, Shepherd? Actually, oh, okay, sorry. The leader of the stuff wasn't in church at the time. But, okay.
but the moment,
I'm sure Shepherd took, they would help her out. They are a team.
but the whole service, the whole Sunday was just a moment to, and I've been in the nation for a few years, but I was in awe. I was in awe. I was really in awe at what God continues to do with the nation. That, and I think it also lets us. It also gave me a notion that this young community is actually looking for help. You know,
True.
They're looking for help, and they actually also know that it is the nation family where they can find help. We were okay. Some more comments have come in, and just simply. Service was, it was packed. People hadn't seen since Bankside. This one says backslide, but but Bankside is what I think you're saying. A soul from Nando's said, "Nah, today was lit. I even followed PT on Instagram. Do you think he will follow me back?"
Nah, I won't be. But I am with them.
People were engaged from the start. So yes, and then in a nutshell, I saw one nation be birthed in a day, one man birthing a nation with just the word. And we continue to see those things constantly. One of my souls was saying, trying to drink vodka and coke during service. The world needs help.
Imagine that service guy say, "Can I have vodka?"
But it's beautiful. And I think that speaks of the larger community as well. But two amazing young men, Inspire Family, Brian and Sam, came to me and demanded to join protocol to serve, and they did. You would have thought they would have preferred to sit down and enjoy the service. People, I think a generation of service is just being born, or servants, right servants are being born. Servants of God are being born, you know. And we can't forget the word as well, sir. We can't forget the word. We were saying how you actually annihilated word church for us. You know, because it wasn't a long word because of Sunday, but it was a short, impactful, but simple word. You know, converting your pain to purpose. And I think it highlighted what we saw yesterday, which was what we've been speaking about since COVID, community.
True. Yeah.
You know, and what we saw yesterday was the manifestation of a community. I received a message this morning, actually, from a young man, an Asian man, and he was talking about how that was the first time he's seen anything like that. And he's very eager to just meet and connect, and we're beginning to see the manifestation of a community take place now. So when you were talking about pain to purpose, I felt community. Yeah. Because one of the things that may not happen is people may not identify with religion, but they will identify with each other's pain. You know. Yeah. So it's one of the things I know we're going to talk about today as we speak. But just that review of the service was absolutely amazing. The aura was different. The expectation was high in the place as well. But those expectations were met as well. And like you said, the altar call, it was almost as if everybody was just waiting. We already know what we came here for. We came here for help. You know? So
it's amazing. I like, this is my own review. Of course, the word and the altar call for me. But again, saying that it is when you say council flat can cancel people, where do you get power and just sit down in your council flat and start talking about what people should do or what people should not do? Come on, man. But anyways, the the power of people coming together
Yes, sir.
toward a purpose, the ability to gel. Hope dealers have had to go away, learn through various experiences, and then be unified. When people are unified, the sound is better.
Yes, sir.
And so they've had their different expectations in life, gone to do their own different things. Even still in the house, however, they were, you can just see like a New Hope Dealers yesterday, the energy, the conformity with one another, not with the world, the conformity with one another, the cooperation and the flow.
Yes, sir.
The unforced rhythm of grace, so to speak. I can see that, and the response did not fail.
Yes, sir.
I think it's going to be one of the points in leadership. The problem is never really the people.
Yes, sir.
The problem is always leadership.
Yes, sir.
The people want to, but they have to find.
Yes, sir.
They have to find what to do or what to follow. But we'll get to that. Love, I just felt, and I think I told you on Saturday, that God just put in my heart to just speak about Jesus is Lord. And I didn't even get to that topic, but I got what God was saying the moment I got on that altar. From where I'm standing, if you look over that sea of people, the attention was unbelievable. Wow. And you know, we've always controlled attention as Spark Nation when PT is speaking and all that, reduced movement and all that. But the attention for yesterday, you can see the hunger and the attention, the environment. I saw it. Yes, so I stood there, then I realized that what happens is, what God was trying to say is, you won't get to the topic of Jesus is Lord. I just want you to declare it. Because when that is declared, there's power in the atmosphere. There's a strange but positive power in that atmosphere. And once I said, we sing this song again, from where I stand, you can see people sat at the edge of their chair and they were listening. Yeah. Then I heard, I actually wanted to talk about channeling pain to prosperity. Yes, sir. It was there and then that I knew what to do. And I kept saying, do you remember the Rothschild family? I was going to talk about 7, 8 families right there. Their pain and what they had to go through and converted it to prosperity. But then the ultimate was what we kept, which is Jesus. That's the best family. And so once that ended, I've been saying to Pastor Buki, I need a song. I need a song. And they came up with Let Hope Rise. Perfect timing, perfect stuff. One moment. Again, it made me realize that God can spend $1 million on one service, spend hours and hours of preparation on one service to get one person. Yes, sir. And so when I heard now do how to call, so he said, you don't even need to stress. Just say anyone who wants to be prayed for.
Because it wasn't a mobilization to get people to the front. It was almost like, well, if you feel like you need a prayer, come to the front. Yeah. But like Pastor Trendy said, it's like the one woman just didn't even wait for you to finish talking. She said, this is my moment. Yeah. Let me go to the front kind of thing. So we could see that the atmosphere was right for that. Yeah. 110%.
It was. It was. And it's God told me that it's the one who called for the 8th to make it the 8th. There's a purpose. Yes, sir. And there was no single hitch, not one, not one thing, So every moment we walk with God, we discover more about His purposes and His intent. We have our own plans sometimes, but He has His own ways and plans, and if we can trust Him with those things, He will do what only He can do. Nothing will go wrong in your life. I feel like I should say that. So nothing is going to go wrong. You can have all the fears as if something might go wrong. Nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing. As long as you are in service, serving, nothing is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And I will emphasize that word a bit more because it's simple, but I think it's for someone. And it could be for someone even in leadership or next to leadership. And you can't really speak out how you feel, your fears. But I'm telling you now, nothing is going to go wrong. Nothing goes wrong with a person that is serving sincerely.
Yes, sir.
Everything would happen according to what is supposed to be. People were so willing. You could feel the urgency for some people. The flyer, it now makes sense. I didn't even see the flyer, though. I'm not sure I've seen the flyer for the service. Altar call was amazing. I saw a woman answer who is a manager in a workplace where lots of nation people worked. They told her about the nation, and even though she's over 30, she felt to attend. Amazing. My soul said she never seen young people like this praise God with joy and excitement. It's only this church and that she has seen young people praising God like this, and she was really happy to come. Amazing. I'm not sure it's only this church that young people praise God. I think it's the kind of young people.
Yeah. And that's something to note as well. I think we were speaking about it yesterday. And as we even move into the conversation, I think we'll talk about this more, but the kind of young people that sit down.
Yeah.
The kind, and even when I can't sort of tell you how much I'm thinking about community is on my mind now. But what the advantages of this nation family is, it keeps getting younger and younger, and it keeps getting more and more relevant to young people.
Yeah.
You know, and these are not just young people who could not be doing anything else.
Yeah.
These are young people who are, number one, young ladies who are beautiful, young men who look like there is happening, but they've decided to leave what others may call relevant, and they come to what is truly relevant, which is a family, a community. And not just that, I think some are getting that message as well.
That's right.
And so it's not just the fact that they're there, it's the fact that they're getting that message, and they're aggressively wanting to be a part of it by serving in some form or dimension. So when the first thing that happened when I came through the door yesterday, like Pastor Daniel said, was I saw a Sam. He's a young man from Inspire family, and he's got an earpiece in his ear, and he's greeting me with a smile, with such, with such character, if I'm allowed to say that word, beyond these years.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, so
makes sense.
So what you said about it's never the people. It's always going to be leadership.
Yeah.
Because there are still many of that kind of young man outside.
Many.
But it is about whether they can locate the right leader, because it's always in them, but it's about whether it can be extracted out of them.
That's right.
By leadership. So those are the things that were exciting, and the kind of young people that sit down, it is something that is amazing. So I just wanted to put that point in there as well.
That's an important point. Altar call was also the moment they were waiting for. Very true. Now, let's talk about leadership.
Yes, sir.
After the dinner, we had a dinner for Miriam Mola Johnson yesterday.
Yes. So we've added Johnson to her name now.
Johnson has been added because we can't find our son anyway. BBC has a version, Sky News has another version, the police have another version, the world leaders, United Nations, they have another version. African Union has another version. Well, we just put Johnson. A dinner yesterday, but after that, and the name came from her leader, Pastor Onye, so it's not me just making things up. So I had another kind of sit down. Okay, I'll share this story. So PK has said that Pastor Kelvin has said that the soul he was going to pray for, He just says, so what you need me to pray for you on? The guy said, let me be honest, I'm just in front to see Pete's jacket from a close range. I just want to see the jacket. Man. Like, so
man.
we've all said that he's honest.
But that's also a part of the review, sir. Your drip yesterday.
Yeah, it must be actually. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for reminding us of that. I mentioned. Yeah, it must be because it's not my drip; it's you guys' drip. I'm just wearing what Phoebe's and whoever the leaders tell me to wear.
No, it was cold, and then I love the picture on Instagram. If you haven't liked that picture, you need to go.
You don't. If you haven't liked that picture, you don't like good things.
You don't like good things, and heaven is not your home.
And someone said to me, you know, if I said, listen, if you do it, I'll send you to hell. You remember hell? Your mom's church. And telling me about hell in my mom's church. I'm already there. Anyways, so the jacket was beautiful. I objected it though. I fought it. I said no, but it made sense.
It made sense. It fitted the occasion as well. Everything just made sense.
And you should see it at a close range. You should. It's a sight really. The curtains. Yeah. Sheriff, the curtains, how they cut it, you would appreciate money if you see that jacket. So it was, the combination was good.
And I don't know if the chain was also a part of the altar call yesterday or because everything, when you were preaching, I don't know if I really heard. I heard pain, but I felt the pain was on your neck.
Yeah, they said that. That is my pain. You know what I go through? This is the thing. They said that thing was blinding. It was just going. So it could be that the attention I'm talking about is like,
wow.
The chain. Imagine walking up to someone and say, "The word touch you," right? Say, what were you talking about? I was just looking at your chain, man.
No, the details of the jacket, everything was so on point, and we can't miss that out from yesterday's service. It was amazing.
No, but I've told you guys, I think everything to the most minute details, work according to purpose.
Yes, sir.
So there's no way Pete is going to wake up one day and say, I want to go get a chain. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. But it just came for the purpose of that service. I think that's why, because I'm just sitting somewhere and someone puts it on me.
Yeah.
And it was the timing.
Yeah.
It's not. Again, someone would look at that and think, well, how can God work that? I think if you're in my experience, you would think about certain things and think, how though? Because I'm not looking for drip. I'm not looking for, I'm just me.
And I think that word can almost be underrated when you say, if you're in my experience. But I think I'm beginning to understand what that means. Life, you're walking inside of a certain purpose. Yeah. And then everything that comes to you in that life, you know it's purpose. It cannot be, it's not something that happens by chance. It happens by destiny.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So thank you for emphasizing the word. If you're in my experience, it's an experience. It's like, and you can't explain 1/10 of it because it won't make sense to even nationals. You would just be like, what a nice change. But it's an experience. You're thinking, okay, why does this make sense now? Because I'm not thinking, let me go get something that makes sense now. It's just like it was there. It's there. It's waiting. And I understand when Paul says bond servant. Like somebody somewhere comes with something and says, just wear this, or just drive this car. This is the next car. And I'm thinking, I don't desire this car. But okay. And then it just fits a profile that needs to be done part time. So it teaches us to use things for what they need to be used for, but never to be attached to anything, because it's like, it's not really yours. Is mine. Let me tell. That's why I said nothing can go wrong with your life. Everything is God's. And when you're in a certain experience, you don't need to buy it. You don't need to purchase it. You don't need to think of when would I make money to buy that chain. I don't know how much this chain is still now. I don't know the cost. I don't know how much they sell it. If it is 1 penny worth or 100,000 till I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever. So he's saying that you don't need to, you're not, everything that you will need to be what he wants you to be. Someone's got it in their hands. And he will borrow you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when you need to use it.
Yes, sir.
So when they don't try to purchase what he just wants to lend you, because they are kingdom materials,
Yes, sir. Yes.
and they don't have to be in the hands of a believer. The first time, these jewelry people, or everything that I wear belongs to certain people. They don't say we're borrowing you, whatever the case may be. For the first time they came to church yesterday,
Yes, sir.
first time 7 years, first time, blown away. They're just thinking, what is this? So this is what you do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we see it on net, but we just don't know. Like, but they are and they are not Christians. They're serving a purpose, and they
sir.
don't even know.
That's right.
But they are in purpose. They were programmed there.
Yeah.
And the only way that I could have attached to them,
Yeah.
I brought them more blessing, but the only way I could have attached to them was I just needed to give one day, and I needed to sell what I, in quote, have.
sir.
So this is a little wristwatch bought years ago now, whatever amount, not any great amount, under 1,000 or maybe 1.5 then. And there was a need in the church. I've told you this many times.
Yes, sir.
And they were programmed to be there till yesterday and forever, who knows. But to open that purpose, remember, God has ordained it from the beginning
Yes,
of
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
But to unlock it, it took me giving that.
Yes, sir.
But the plan was not, let me go give this so I can unlock some people that there's, as in, I was just scrolling through. I've never heard of selling wristwatches.
Yes, sir.
So we're scrolling through those goggle stuff.
Yes, sir.
Many there just said, we'll pick this one. Imagine that's the story. And we picked this one.
And
Yeah.
that would have been the people that then came to the service.
That's it.
Wow.
And not just every watch inspector,
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
everything we wear
yeah.
called bling, it's them.
Wow.
And they don't, it's not a money relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that thing, there is something that is already in your future line. The problem is, instead of focusing on giving and just focusing and knowing that everything works according to the purpose of his counsel, we're going to be worried, when will I have money to buy it? You don't even have to have money to buy it.
Yes,
I just told you, I'm not celebrating chain. I'm celebrating something. You of course, you have to be extremely new to think I'm celebrating chain. How? You know.
There's something I've developed a theory on called.
Thank you, Pastor. It's just it all belongs to purpose. That word is short, but that's what it is.
So I was saying that there's a timeline of purpose.
Yeah.
You know, because it started out as if you're just looking to give for a purpose.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you find people that belong to that timeline. You were meant to meet them at a certain time in order to then carry out certain things. And I know the story of how much has been carried out, the relationship that goes on there. But it's almost as if everything just comes at the right time when purpose releases it to you.
I'm telling you,
know?
every single thing. I don't think the relationship there, I don't think you get. It's like, I go there, I'm around, and say, I think you should wear this.
Yeah, yeah.
As in, they remove it from their hands.
So
say,
something is also driving them.
I'm
as
telling
well.
you. So they're sitting there, everything is, I think there's a new watch, I'll just wear it. We're not talking prices now.
Yeah.
I'm the one that will now feel responsible to think, okay, I should do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But they're just sitting there thinking, actually, sometimes they're removing everything on their ends and saying, this is, and then I'm saying, no. I said, trust me, wear it and go do your thing. You'll see that the people will like you. Guys by themselves. Or people spend money, they are thinking, don't, including houses. Mansions, and don't think of how you're going to get it. Think of how you're going to stay and walk in purpose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even when things seems against you, it would all work itself out. Because when things come up against you, it is for you to shift focus. Then you'll be trying to sort out many things in life. A person will sit, and that's one of the sessions yesterday after the dinner with Pastor Miriam's dinner. I sat down with the Love House girls because I saw them eating. They've been serving, so I said, "Let me." But it ended up to be a question and answer session, which was long but good, And I said, if you cannot fulfill purpose if you don't forget age. You're telling me I'm 28, I'm 27, I'm 29, and when a person begins to wear that, you can almost see it on them, because I've been pastoring for a while. A person sits down and says, by now I'm 39, I should have done what? People before your age died, so you should have died. If you don't forget age, because that thing is a evil that keeps pressing people. That's why women quickly fight when you say, "Oh, so they say, no, I don't declare my age." Women don't tell. They are afraid of something. That's a woman that's not been delivered. She's not free. I'm telling you, she's not free. So she will either age, she will pretend and say, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not." If you call her, but they are fighting themselves. They are trying to say to themselves, they are afraid of dying alone, old and lonely. So that fear is still a bondage. So they are unable to enter the glorious liberty that belongs to the children of God. And when we talk about that glorious liberty, we're talking about knowing that you have an inheritance. So you're not in a rush, you're not calculating your life by... So I asked one of the sisters, said, when did you move out of the HQ? She said, 30, I said, yeah. Why was I not worried? Why? Well, I didn't even think of worrying, not to talk of worry, because I know she'll be fine. Because you can't go wrong in service. It's just people go to embrace all kinds of talk and thoughts, and then subconsciously they can be here and say, Pastor Sam, well done, sir, I'm here, sir. When in their mind something is buffeting them, they have not entered the glorious liberty of the children of God.
And one of the things that, as we're addressing this, one of the things that I'm beginning to discover about services, when you say the mind can sometimes be tormenting, it is also undoing whatever they're putting forward as a service as well. So it's like, funny enough, I had a conversation with someone this morning, and she was saying that her heart is actually kind of leading her just to serve leaders and do whatever she needs to do. And I said to her, yes, but if that's what your heart is doing, you do it, but don't complain. Because what you will do is you will be doing it, then you will be undoing everything that you're doing. There's nothing you have to sort of do it with a reckless abandon, and it's not a reckless abandon in a way where there's nothing that will happen. It's a reckless abandon in a way where you don't mind what happens from here. You're called for this. And then when you know you're called for this, everything kind of irons itself out by itself. So the more we grow, actually, and just to help someone, the more we grow, sir, the more I'm beginning to realize that there is actually nothing to think about your life except the things that you're called to do.
Oh, absolutely.
So you should just look for your lane, which is wherever you're serving, and just serve there. The other details, don't think about how those details will come to be. Think about the detail of your service. Because if you're able to do that, inside of service, as you're doing that, you will realize there are certain things that attach themselves to you, and you won't even notice when they're coming. Because if you still ask, we always ask this question when we're in our discussions, if we still ask ourselves, whatever the nation family looks like today, what was the process there? We will be putting some scientific things together, but realistically, we don't know. We were too busy with the details of service, and the other details were whatever they were.
Absolutely.
So that's what it was. But let me start to lead you into some... Okay, before I do that.
It's so... Love House girls, some of them, of course, ask me, so how do you still, because of the person asking their age, so to speak, amazing servant, amazing service person, how do you still battle with unlearning, or how do you still deal with the things you've learned?
Yeah.
And she said to me, it may be easier for those who are 20 something. It's not, and I wanted to say it's not easier because they've learned a lot by 7 years old.
Yes, sir.
They've learned limitation.
Yes, sir.
We all grow to learn limitation. A child does not know limitation. Someone has to coach you
Yes, sir.
that there's poverty, there's limitation, and all that. So she was saying, how do you unlearn things that you've learned? Because even though we're hearing this, there's still that battle of the mind.
Yes, sir.
And I'm saying, look, just be loyal to a superior cause, even if it's wrong.
Yes, sir. Wow. That's serious.
Yeah. Just because if what will keep dragging you back into what you learned is your mind is still playing around. Is that right? Is that not right? But you have to come to a place of certain reckless abandonment.
Yes.
And I say, let me tell you something about evil and wrong. Yeah. Evil and wrong is so strong. When evil is in the place, when the place is evil, you won't be suspecting.
Yeah.
It's the red light is huge.
Yeah.
So I only use the word even if it's wrong, so that your mind will, because you can pick, you can say, oh, this leader did this with this girl, that means wrong. That's not wrong.
I
There
think
is a,
sometimes I think, sir, just to, and I'll allow you to go back to the point, but sometimes I think we mistake evil and wrong for doubt. And what I mean by that is you're trying to guess whether this is right or wrong. But really and truly, what is in your mind is just a doubt. And that doubt is making you're trying to define that doubt by whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
But it is not about right or wrong. It's just the fact that there are certain doubts that somebody is playing around with. Because like you just said, and I've actually come to that conclusion as well. Like you just said, evil is so strong that when you see, you will know it.
100%. Unless if you're a person who God has condemned to evil.
Yeah.
So evil is not, we suspect in fact there. If it is evil, it will be blatant.
Yes, sir.
Evil does
Yes,
not
sir.
hide.
Yeah.
Darkness does not shy away. Darkness is not hiding. Darkness takes over. So I'll give you an example from a story, history story now. So Elijah Muhammad has asked a lady to be his eyes and ears in Mosque 7. Mosque 7 is where Malcolm X pastors.
Yes, sir.
And literally pastors. He said, oh, so he's called the lady separately and said, be my eyes and ears here. And the lady didn't say anything, even though Malcolm X said, what was the meeting? She said something else. Weeks after, she's come to Malcolm X to say, look, this is what our supreme leader said. And Malcolm X taught her saying, your duty is to do what the supreme leader said.
Yes, sir.
This is the lady saying, oh, he said that, but I just didn't feel right about it. No, he said, you don't understand what this leadership thing means.
Yeah.
It is, I may be in, I think his mosque was in New York or something. I think New York, Mosque 7. I said, you may think you are doing me a service, but actually, by not doing what the supreme leader said, you're doing me a disservice.
Yes, sir.
Usually, what Malcolm should have said is, oh, it said that, and it's trying to be, no.
Yeah.
But the lesson there is not if Elijah Muhammad was right or wrong. It's like the right leader is saying, this is the hierarchy of leadership. Even if it sounds wrong to you now, that's what to follow.
Yes, sir.
Our minds are, we haven't seen Jesus before. I don't think any of you watching have seen Jesus like you were eating and dining with him. You haven't. How do you know that all these things are true and real, especially when we talk about faith?
Yes, sir.
You've just determined to follow it then.
Yeah.
You don't know right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just there. And you've determined whatever it is what I'll follow.
Yeah.
It's a determination of heart.
Well.
Now then, taken over by the Spirit, it becomes something. So how do you unlearn? You cannot unlearn by learning. You unlearn by loyalty to a superior cause. It's not by unlearning. I mean, you cannot sit yourself down and say, "Oh, they taught us X, Y, Z in our old church. I will now learn." If you're committed and loyal to a superior cause, you start all those things will start leaving your mind. And I then gave certain examples. That's one. Then two, if you asked me, okay, years ago you were this, now you're that. I said, look, everything you guys think I am now is very external. I still remember the buses I took home from Queens Road. It's still the same guy. It's the same person. Okay, so the question they were asking is, how did 15 years happen? How do you now say 15 years later? I said, I don't know, because I was committed to one thing that was superior. We did church 15, 16 years now every week and just preached. Everything just happened externally, and I don't feel it. It's people that will see Jeep or cars. I don't see it. It doesn't feel like it is just a life, because I was just focused on that inner man. And doing what purpose called me to do. So most people you'll meet, is just, again, we've repeated this week after week. They are so focused on what the external will be. So focused, they just want to be. Some have taken their eyes off the world, but there's someone in church they want to be, and not because of what the person has become. They think they have money. Nobody has money here yet, like they should, and they will. Everybody will. It's just focusing on that inner man, which then births the leadership that we're talking about. So those are some of the questions from the ladies yesterday, and I find those questions very, and discussion even, because we had a back and forth, I find them very important to daily life structure if one is going to make it in this walk. Otherwise, one will fail halfway.
And I don't think we can ignore the fact that, especially on the line of questioning you got yesterday, we can't ignore the fact that you just mentioned now that there's an inner man that you're focused on. And probably living in a world of purpose on its own. So there was just that one thing that you saw and that you see. So everything else is external. The way people see you, and even some who want to be like you, they want to be like you based on an external world that you see, but you don't. That they see, but you don't see that world. Even though, yes, you're dressed in the clothes, you're dressed in the drip, you're driving the cars, but there is something happening inside.
Those things, the clothes cars, that I don't feel it. There's nothing to feel in it. How do I put this? It doesn't have any feeling. It doesn't bring joy or sadness.
Yes, sir.
Food is even better, because with food is like you can feel food, and those of you who are food head, you know, you can chew it, you're liking it. These things, clothes that you don't, it has no feeling, it has no taste.
Yes, sir.
So I don't feel it. It doesn't have to. Now, for it adds to purpose.
Yes, sir.
But me as a person, the kind of joy or pride, I don't know, because when people say just get the bags, man, I don't feel it. It doesn't have any taste.
Yes, sir.
It's just thin.
Do you feel like you've always been like that, or did something happen along the way? Was there something that made this happen?
I think if you're so focused on purpose, there's nothing that would have taste to you. So I can't remember if something changed, but all I can just remember is I've always just had purpose in mind. But time, I may not be able to define what is purpose. What does that mean? You know, but I get what Solomon means by when it says it's tasted all things, the consummation of all things, and vanity upon vanity. I get it. It's not discarding those things like lazy Christians will do, who have determined to be lazy and not productive, unfruitful people. And so vanity upon vanity, nonsense talk. He needs it as a king. If it's vanity, he should be walking as a king, walking or crawling on the floor. No, he used the best. He's just saying, compared to purpose, they have no feeling. You
Yes,
can't
sir.
feel a car. How can you feel a car? You can't feel it. It's not, by feeling, I mean, it can't motivate you,
Yes, sir.
but it does something to it, does its own job.
Okay, let me actually stay on taste for a moment, right?
Yeah.
You know, and we know the normal thing is taste is by someone has a goal in life. In 5 years, I want to be driving a Ferrari. I want to have a nice mansion in 20 years or 30 years. Those are usually the tastes that people go for. That's how they usually want to define their lives. But then now let me ask you a question that I think is suited to the nation family, which is, yes, when taste is evaporating when it comes to, okay, yes, I'm in this car and I know it's a purpose vehicle. This is for the work. Are there things that you develop taste for? Do you feel like there's something that you're looking to see? I don't know if you understand my question, because those things now become minor things to you. But then are there something that you're driving to see, with whether it be within a community? Are there greater tastes that you're looking for within the community or within life as a whole? You know? I don't know if you understand
I think I
thought.
do. If I don't answer it correctly, you can bring
Yes,
me
sir.
back to point. Let me tell you something. In leadership, and this is deep for me, so I'm looking for the best ways to say it. You're only trying to make people what you have become.
Yeah.
So when you say, are there things that I see, or the taste, what we're going for, I want a Sam that is a me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because that's the whole point of leadership.
Yes, sir.
It's not a Sam that does what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the frustration, I mean, when Pastor Sam does interviews, excellent, but I'm watching him yesterday, no. But I get why a leader will be frustrated, because I want him to be me. It can't be overnight.
Yeah.
So this is why God will protect people from leaders as well. Because if you have a selfish leader, and I don't want to dull it down to selfish and selflessness, but I will use it as an example to pass through. If you have a selfish leader, you're constantly making another selfish guy.
Yeah.
So when I look at the community, if you see our choice of Sunday service, or if I organize a dinner, what am I? It is what I am internally, that I'm trying to make someone be, and make the environment. The Love House Girls asked question about the environment. You're talking about how your world and how you built your world even when you were sleeping on the couch and all that. It is something that you've become on the inside, and you're trying to, without sitting down and saying, let me try and make this happen in the world. Subconsciously, you're trying to reproduce what you've become. So each time you talk, each time you eat, every man is born to recreate.
Yes, sir.
That's why there is the consummation between man and woman, and babies come. It's procreation. It's recreation. Now, way beyond that, in the beginning, the real recreation is Adam is just supposed to create another Adam. So till date, they will call Jesus the second Adam, the last Adam. Because it is inside every man to just keep being, keep producing himself. So the description of nature, when a baby, a child is given birth to, and they look like their mom or dad, it's just a proverbial statement of recreation of the real person without the relationship of man and woman. So when I've been asked, and I'm being asked, like, oh, is there specific taste and specific, subconsciously, I'm just reproducing in me. The version of expression can be different. So that's not, you can be a PT or no. Expressions will be different. And it is not far-fetched. You can see it around. Why are you in this house with 10 or 20 people, whatever? Why is Oni in this? Why is Obi in this? Why is another Obi in this? What made that happen? Not because I sat down with you guys and said, guys, you must accommodate people. Subconsciously, or reproducing what I've become. Why does Spark Nation give the way they give? Why? Because I've recreated many me's. It's just the same thing. And again, it is not based on be a good leader. It's not, nobody, I've never, let me tell you, till I was more than 25 years old, I never heard a teaching about leadership. I know there are people who do leadership stuff. I never.
Yeah.
It's just natural. It's just subconscious. It's, you're created. One of your sisters was texting me, like appreciation text actually, Pastor Miriam. She was saying how she appreciates everything and how I pay attention to every detail of her life and all that. But I said, it is not. I get how you're saying it and how you're expressing it, but I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And this may be sounding to you like Pete is being humble. No, I'm telling you, was it really on my mind? I'm trying to express something. I said, I don't feel like that, like I'm doing anything. I feel like it's natural. It's what it's. I feel like I'm born to do it. Otherwise, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm too stubborn for that. I won't do it. So if I go and sit down with a Dr. Eugene in his office and we're chatting, I'm not. It's not forced.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. I'm not trying.
You're not under any obligation
No,
to do that.
but yeah. So I'm struggling with the words to use. I'm just me,
Yes, sir.
and I feel like it's part of my being.
Yeah.
It's it's what makes me alive.
Yes, sir.
Now, once you set it as an order of meeting, once I pick up, someone feels, oh, if you pay attention to that, I'm also a member of this. Why am I not paying attention?
Yeah.
Then I feel I don't want to do it. So it makes me feel alive because that's what I do. That's my life.
Yes, sir.
So what do I want to see? I cannot. For description for the world, we can say Black People's Bank and That's just so that we have a statement. I just want many means as long as I'm attached to Christ. And don't forget this, guys. I need to re-emphasize this, guys. I'm just a man. I'm human. Probably with faults, and I don't want to be one of those pastors who say, oh, God knows any of my fault. I don't have fault that I'm hiding from you. I'm just saying that I may have faults tomorrow. I may sleep because I'm just human. It's not that deep. It's just what makes me powerful is I have an assignment. It's a call. That is not a perfection. There is nothing that anyone does in the world that I cannot do. You understand? Wrong. I might. I don't know. I hope not. I'll try not to for your sakes. But I'm just human. So let's get that clear. But to reproduce, to maybe if I keep becoming what God has destined for me, and then I reproduce a son, a Lloydie, a Sheriff, whatever, maybe what would then happen is from that product, banks will come up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The focus is we've always had excellence. If you give me a little room, I'm just going to make it the best room.
Yes, sir.
It's going to have the right picture, the right carpet. So I said to Anais and the girls that what happens to people is when they are given a little space, because of these, their so-called big dreams of life and all that, they neglect that little space. They don't build a word of excellence there because leave it, but I'm getting to it. So I gave them an example. Living in my brother's house, little corner. I said, no, I started from when I was living with my uncle. My younger brother would have we have bunk bed or bunker bed. I think it's bunk or bunker. Bunk bed. The iron ones, they are black. They're like, so it has upstairs and downstairs, meaning the bed.
Yes, sir.
So My little brother would choose maybe upstairs to the. So I have maybe upstairs or downstairs per time. You see that space is my world and it's excellent.
Wow.
From bunk bed.
Yeah.
I hardly leave it. If I'm not out, I'm there. My whole world is there. And I'm not dreaming of the world of mansions. I know if I can develop me here, I will be able to handle the mansions.
Yeah.
If they come, when they come. But people neglect that. This is the issue. They are looking for some big world there.
Yeah.
And they neglect the small world they are given. Then from the bunk bed to my brother's house, the little room is spared gracefully. In his house, I made it a haven.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking of the better world. When we had 2-3 people and Spark is just nothing.
Yeah.
That was our world.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I adored that world. I loved it. I didn't praise anything more than that world.
Yeah.
It was my whole. So I think because I treated it with so much respect, so much honor, so much dignity, what I didn't know was I was becoming a better person to now reproduce the use of this world.
Yes, sir.
And then who knows what the use of this word would have done. And now we know what you do.
Yes, sir.
Now we don't know what you'll do next.
Yes, sir.
We don't know what Sheriff would do. We don't know what Charlie would do. We don't know what all of these good people will do. That's that word. That's how that word works. That for me is the core of leadership, because leadership is influence.
Yes, sir.
Not just vision, but not just your followers saying, where are we going? Where you're going is me.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And you know what you were saying as you were speaking, what kept repeating in my mind is the inner workings of leadership.
Yeah.
But you mentioned some major points, and one of the point I'm taking out from here is the treatment of your environment around you at that time.
So you'll see why people like me will freak out when you have a trap house or stuff that is not clean. Or it's just, you don't need to tell me where you're going. I need to know where you're hurt.
Wow. You don't need to tell me where you're going. I need to know where you are at.
If I see where you're hurt, I already know where you're going.
Yeah.
Forget that you say, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm reading medicine or whatever. I'm reading this book. I said, don't worry, take me to your corner. Let me just see your corner. Let me see your secret place.
Wow.
Let me see, because you're going to lead nations, the making of leaders.
Yes, sir.
And that's from physical space to now your relationship space. Because there are 5 spaces in a man's life.
Wow.
5. So your physical space, you adore it. If you don't even, let's start with Lancaster House. Start with 87A. There's nothing I can do about the physical structure, because there's a landlord that will be responsible or irresponsible per time, however they feel. But when you get to our church, even though the ceiling may be leaking, because there's nothing I can do about that physical structure. But I tried the best we have for the carpet, for the altar, the best we have and know at the time. I created a world there. Then we got to Lancaster House. The building itself is an eyesore for what the area became. Elephant and Castle is an eyesore. It started, you know that even that shopping mall is an eyesore. But then, if you ever came to the 4th floor, guys, of Lancaster House, I got the carpets from Germany. Cream. Eventually, I got to know that black people are just messed up. But fine. I'm just thinking, well, I'm not going to go get black carpet because black people are coming. I'm just going to... so for me, people are trying to say, well, this carpet will get dirty. I said, you don't understand. Let me just see it whilst it's clear. It makes me happy to realize that from my inside, we got white chairs, leather white chairs. The setting, the chandeliers. We started buying paintings.
Yes, sir.
So that when you get into that fourth floor, you forget the building.
Yeah. Because that fourth floor was nothing compared
Nothing.
to the environment it was in. It was the environment was so shabby, but then when you get to that fourth floor and the investment and time, care and attention in terms of the carpet to the chairs to the chandeliers, it honestly didn't deserve to be in that building because it was it was almost like you walk into this is such a statement, but it was like a mini version of the Kremlin. You know, when you go walk into those Russian embassies, you will see chandeliers, but we had made it into a royal place in that fourth floor, you know.
And because that was the word that was given at that time.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I know why God had to do that. If it's just an hotel to start with, there was no space, there would have been no space for me to express what I've become.
Yeah.
God is trying to say, okay, what we're making you become excellent
That
on the
makes sense,
inside.
yeah.
Birth it. Let's see if you've become that.
Yeah.
But if it's an hotel, posh place, start from posh place.
Yeah.
Jesus made a manger a palace.
Yes, sir.
It was a manger.
Yes, sir.
So they had to program him to be born in a manger. So I think people despise what they are given per time.
Yes, sir.
That's why you can overlook a Pastor Nicky, overlook your own leader, and see an influencer on social media and say, you don't know. But your leader is the one you're given at this time. That's what you adore.
Yes, sir.
That's what you, in quote, worship. Only God must be worshipped. But that's what you worship just for sake of words.
Yeah. And
At the time.
You know, so if I was to try and find a simple word for what you're saying it's like being resourceful. And what I mean by that is being able to identify that, yes, there can be, and I've been on this topic of heroes for the last week, which is, yes, there can be people that look a certain way outside, which the more we get into that world, the more we discover that there's nothing really out there at all.
Can I warm this up, please?
But then you've also then
Come
got
true.
someone right in front of you.
Thank you.
That sometimes you fail to see as the person that if you really pay attention to this person, your next few steps are in front of you. Or if you pay attention to what you just have with you now.
Yeah.
So even if I was to use like finances as an example, you've got you may have £100. Let me stay with £100.
Yeah.
It's the way you treat that £100 that would then lead you to your next 100 or whatever. So one of the things I've seen you do is you've made, let's say, 100,000 look like 10 million.
100%. Yeah.
But then it's because of treatment of environment. And it never started, 100,000 is high, so it never high to the community we're coming from. But it never started there. It started with £200.
Yeah.
And you made that look like £10,000.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, what I'm beginning to realize, especially, and I love this line of inner workings of leadership because people will almost feel like when I get there, I will be like Pastor Tobi.
Yeah.
And what they're actually talking about is when I have certain things that are external.
Yeah.
But it is actually an inner working.
Yeah.
So I don't need to know where you're going. I need to see where you're at.
It's where you are. Do you know, growing up, how many leadership classes we heard of?
Yes, sir.
Then growing up, I'm seeing leadership, coach, leadership. Nobody became leaders from those programs. What happened? Nothing. You cannot train to be a leader. You have to be made.
Wow.
Someone has to make you. Jesus made that clear. He said, follow me, then I'll make you. Not attend my classes. It makes money for those who teach those classes, and it's fine. And it makes the people listening also feel like they're doing something to better themselves, and all that is fine. It is a making, and part of that making is the person that molds you. Because Jesus was clear.
Yeah.
Follow me, and I'll make you. Don't follow, you won't be made. Simple. So it is that inner walking, and I wanted to create an environment where people are free to be human, right? Free to have faults, including their pastors. But then people still saying why this person is my leader.
Yes, sir.
why they are what they represent.
Yes, sir.
But back to the point that what you have now, the first from 25 till about 27, thereabout or more, yeah, it was one or two shirts and one or two trousers. But you see, and I know I can say this forever till you're tired of hearing it, but you see the treatment of that one or two shirt is amazing. You never, let me use your word, you'll never find me lacking.
Yeah.
I went to office. This is after kitchen potting days. Now we rented a place in Ashes. I went to office fully dressed every day. That was my world. People go to conferences. I just come to that little. That office is the smallest thing you've seen, and it has our speakers and keyboard in it.
Yeah.
You know, but I sit down behind the desk, fully dressed up in it's shirt and trousers. It's just two, but they are always clean. No, I adored that world. Then the other world of today, whatever you want to call today, was simply inevitable. It's bound to happen because of that build-up. So it is, first of all, the leadership of yourself. And people don't appreciate that because it looks like, yeah, so where's this going to head? Because there are so many people on net becoming something that they're really not. And you are eager to become something you're not. Not knowing that what will make you is what you're given part time. This is what you're given. So if you live in one of the houses, the space you're given is what you're given. It's your world. It's a palace.
Yes, sir.
It's everything. If you don't adore it, you will never be adored. It's never going to happen. Then you get into the relationships.
Yeah.
Every other relationship follows suit with the kind of relationship you have with leadership. Because what leadership is trying to make you do is to have influence.
Yeah.
Because what leadership did to you was to have influence over you.
Yeah.
So now what are you going to do? You are a leader as well, because within a sphere, you have influence there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, either you have $1 million in your account or no money at all. Let me tell you something. Nobody knows what is in your account.
Yeah.
They know what is in your content of character.
Right.
If your content is rich, nobody knows if you have 10 billion.
Yes, sir.
Someone was actually telling me about musicians yesterday, top ones, whose name I won't mention because it's close to them. And when he's telling me actually how much they make a year, I'm thinking, wow, so Pastor Sam, Pastor has more than these guys. It's unbelievable. Now, for a normal black guy, again, I'll not mention it. These are your toppest of toppest. I'm even saying, okay, so all these sign this, this and sign this, how much do they pay? This guy was telling me a figure. I said, so we could have signed 10 of them.
Yeah.
Like, we could have signed 10, like
Yeah.
one pack, like pack. We could have signed them like buying toothpaste.
Yeah.
These are guys, people actually say, wow, it's gone. You don't say it's gone. You don't know what is in his account, but you see how it comes across.
Yeah.
And then you calculate how it comes across based on your own luck.
Wow.
Then you decide this guy, wow. So yes, Mr. Stones, he said, wow. You don't know. You don't know his account. You don't know nothing. But because of the content of how it comes across, or whatever comes across, you say this is
Or how his own PR makes him look.
100%.
Yeah.
There's more money on PR than in their pocket.
Yeah.
Rightly so. They are showbiz and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, then the relationship side comes.
Wow.
Where you develop certain content. And by relationship, don't quickly jump to men and women or man and girl or stuff like that. No, calm down. I'm talking about how the world perceives you. Rich, poor.
Yeah.
And for that, the world does this. A rich man actually is rich, but he decides to be perceived as humble and poor. People like Obama.
Yeah.
They're not really rich, but at least they'll put up an image of humility. Blah, blah. It's a liar, lying. Yeah. But the world has a perception and it knows it works. So it's a skilled, skilled whatever. Your relationship with the world is based on certain characters that you chose willfully. Why was your step led here? Because the relationship you should have with the world should be that of economic liberator for them.
Sir. Economic saviors.
Economic savior. That's relationship. Then it comes to and if that's going to be the case, then you're a leader because of how you already think.
Yes, sir.
Like, what I'm going to look like to the world is rich.
Yeah.
Now, you don't then go back and say, I don't have a penny. Well, if that's how you think, then you really don't have a penny because the content of your character is poor. So I didn't have to have a single lubes to show the world or to let everybody that meet me know that I'm prosperous. Because I'm prosperous, really.
Yes, sir.
And I still don't have to have a huge bank account. I just have to have the content of this word, the content of vision and leadership reproducing itself. As long as I have that, I've got all it takes. That's my definition of riches. That's my relationship.
Yes, sir.
So these are the simplest things you can ever do. You would have to complicate these willfully.
Yes, sir. Because you've said you've really broken it down, and I think these are things we've been speaking about over the weeks. But I mean, you've just said people don't even know what is in your account; they know what is in your content. What is your content? And for us, and then you then went on more to then talk about the fact of the content of there are characters that you choose willfully. So you choose to be a certain way. If you choose to be an economic savior, then already how you're thinking, the content of your character will be displayed as such. And even the way you are made will be in that direction. But then there's also something that you said and it can also sound like you said it lightly, but you said if you are saying that you don't have a penny, then you truly don't have a penny. Because the way you're thinking, your content is already making you you're basically saying you're broke, you don't have a penny. So that's the content that you're letting off to the world as well. But I want to sort of, you're answering the questions that I had for you, because I was going to ask you things like, after looking at yesterday's service, after a year, and what were your thoughts on leadership? What do you, when you look out at the community now, what are you thinking about? Especially when you're looking at leaders? But I think we've developed some thoughts here on content. Because I know you would have probably had a look at the need that is there. But then you would have also then been thinking about the people that would meet that need, because what is most important is not actually the need. It is that there is a people that meets that need. I think even when Jesus was talking, we kind of understand his statement more when he said the harvest is plentiful. Meaning there's a harvest.
I was just going to mention that.
So there's a need, but he said the laborers, skilled workers are few. So that speaks about leaders. So what are your thoughts? What is your projection into the future when you look at a service like yesterday, the need in the community and people that now need to meet that need?
The laborers are few indeed, because here we are building leaders by living like this every day, talking to ourselves and challenging ourselves. Then, let me start from the girl child. Then some need arises in her life, and she's going to be with this loser. A whole many years of training and all that has just gone down the drain of traditional marriage. That's what I do by tradition. Everything gone. The hope of a whole generation gone. Sacrificed on the altar of self. Marriage is important and honorable, the Bible says. But when it is outside of purpose, it becomes selfish. Or the guy who feels I'm a hustler, I just need to make something work for me. And most of them that we've met never makes anything work for them. So that's on the downside. But when I look at the other side, which is my own major focus, I'm thinking, so really everything is possible. You see young black people and white people can't do anything.
Yes, sir.
It's what is missing is leadership. I saw that. I've seen that 16 years, and I saw it even more yesterday. That should we decide that we should get a bank, young people, you have what it takes in you. You packed that place field yesterday. And the weather was terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
And you packed it as a church, a church. People don't go church; they go concerts. You packed it as a church. You got the souls there on time. You did, and it's excellent. It's all done by you. Guess what my job was? It's just to say, this is the direction we're going. I didn't even bother inviting any soul. The other ones that I invited, I just said, listen, guys, come if you can. But you made it. So I'm seeing the community. And there was a TV channel that was there, YouTube TV channel that was there. They just didn't know this exists. They're blown away. Okay, now we get it. So this is the Spark Nation thing from the guy asked me, he said, so like it's baffled. So all of that I'm thinking, because remember they are close to musicians, they've been around and they said nothing close. Like, how? Those guys are shabby. It's like they are owned by so. That one, if they give them 200K, they have to sing and make 200K 4 times. Otherwise, they hold and they say, so if they give you 200K, by the time you buy chain and buy that, it's gone. You rent a place and stuff like that. So I'm just thinking, young people can actually do anything. If there is arrowhead leadership, what is still missing, what is lacking is leadership. Now, so I just give direction. How do we know we can raise $1 million a month? 500K a month? Because leadership comes and say, guys, we have to, and we're going to. That's what leadership does. And then when it is necessary, leadership will then say, okay, don't do this way, do this way. As Pete is giving that leadership. A Pastor Sam is waking up to give that leadership. I mean, waking up, meaning being built up to be able to provide the same kind of leadership. Lloyd is doing the same. A 2G is doing it. And all of a sudden, a time comes that we say we want Hood banks to be bigger than HSBC. We can do it. Who would have known? Because that is the fear of the world. They say, well, young people's church. Young people they can live holy if they desire to. They can live lasciviously if they decide to. They can build the biggest work if they decide to. So I've learned that it does not matter where a person is coming from. If they have real leadership, like they say, if it's a pack of sheep led by a lion, they will overcome everything. They are sheep, but you will see another side of them because a lion is leading them. So it's that kind of leadership that I think I was called to show the possibility of.
Yes, sir.
And that's what will bother me. I don't care if he's a Pastor Sam, a pastor near, all the way to the youngest of us. There's nothing called smallest of us, because the Bible says the weakest among them will be like David. And the house of David will be like God in himself. So for me, what will bother me is when I see any of them walking off path, as subtle or soft it may be. I'm saying, you're going to miss that, because you will play to, you will think you've reached the height that you have. Leadership is what is missing. So unless we are all able to bond together and say, till now in the UK, right? There's no leadership. Musicians can't lead.
No way.
Musicians cannot lead. How? Well, they just want to sing, sell album, live a good life. And you'll notice once they sell few albums or get popular, they start advising you to be good boys and good girls.
Yeah.
I know that all that is fine, but leadership is more than advice. It is sacrificial.
Yes, sir.
And again, I just think that is what is missing in our world today. There is the poorest nation in the world, and this has been proven many times, the way Vietnam changed because right leadership came.
Wow.
The way things changed because right leadership came. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, because you in one of your earlier thoughts you said you looked at things and it's never a leadership, it's never a problem with people, but it's a leadership issue. And now you've come back to say that what's missing is leadership. But and
that's the laborers being few.
Yes, sir. And that comment when you say it is interesting, but let's look at the details of it, because people are also a fight on its own.
100%.
Especially the more your community grows, the diversity in people grows, and that means the diversity of background is also growing. So therefore, people have different thoughts or opinions, have different ways of doing things. And then there's a leader that comes. And that leader now has to be able to not just fight with himself to make sure that the direction goes the way it needs to go, but then there's a fight amongst people as well.
Yeah.
So I actually put a question here saying, what does it take for someone to lead? Especially in this kind of work, or in a new, if I'm allowed to say this, an emerging community.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about hood banks, we're really talking about an emerging community.
Yeah.
So what would it take for someone to lead in this kind of sphere or space?
A leader must only see one thing. And that one thing is what they've become and what others must become. And that's why sometimes leaders turn to tyrants. Because they only just see one thing, nothing you can tell them. But it's almost like necessary. And that's why we as leaders will pray for the mercy of God most times, because followers must just follow. So the mercy of God means that it keeps you right-minded. So you to remain in this in that space, you have to just see one thing. Yes, people are difficult. I even believe for certain nations in the third world that their own problem is not leadership, it's followership. Like Nigeria. And I've argued it many times that even the people. But also I understand how a people will come out of a people. If you are not in a hurry. I'm beginning to understand and appreciate that you can come to the community. Let's say UK has, London has maybe 1 million, for argument's sake, 1 million young people. If you are lucky and blessed and highly skillful, you get 100, 200 out. But the 200 are supposed to be molded in a way that they become life givers to the other 900,000. The 900,000 are now not moldable. But if you are skilled, you get 100. Jesus got 12. Or 12 how? Of course, then he had the 70, then he had the 500. But the moldable straight persons that you meet first will be the 12. If you're able to get them how? And then train them to be the best followers, because if they are the best followers, they're already leaders. Because remember, there's still 900,000 plus that could not even follow. So let me say something to you guys. If you're already a follower, a an informed follower, an educated follower.
Yes, sir.
A follower that is not intimidated. Followers get easily intimidated,
Yeah.
and they get intimidated by looking at other followers. Many people who came to spam met Pastor Buki on keyboard, and she's still there.
Yeah.
She's not trying to say, let me be the fiery preacher.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop her from making more money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Something just happens. It's simple. That's the best follower.
Yes, sir.
And she, and like yourself and others, don't have an inferior life. If you go outside and look for their mate and tell me, oh, wow, you know, because you've been following or just playing keyboard, see how inferior your life is to mine. Like who? Like who? The most is maybe someone sitting on Instagram at 30 saying, I'm an influencer. You're not an influencer. You're going to grow old now in a minute. So it is a skill, a determination, a call to be a follower, because therein you find leadership, and its leadership is only based on saying one thing. The focus is the focus. It's not. Up to this moment, I mean, it's changed a bit now. I don't see rappers or stuff, and I appreciate them or athletes until the dreaded guys are telling me, yes, they say, look, I see it now. You don't even need them, because I will consider these are non-Christians. I'll consider it a minus to you. It's like because you've already reached a certain height. This is a community of leaders.
Yeah.
It's just that when they come to you, they are followers.
Yes, sir.
But with back to their community, they are leaders.
Leaders, yeah.
And everybody has a place they come to, and they are followers. Yes. So because real world leaders are real followers.
Yes, sir.
So to remain in that space is to just, and God forbid that your leader becomes darkened. Darkened means that they no longer have vision. They are now a river that is not flowing. As long as they have vision, and you can mark their focus, that's your leader.
Wow.
It doesn't see 10 things at the same time. It sees one. This is where we're going.
Yes, sir.
Guys, in this house, we said this month we're raising 100K. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
And everybody begins to think, because nobody your age thinks like that.
Yes,
For
sir.
them, they are led by non-leaders. They just want to get. Imagine in 2020, is this 2020? What are we?
21.
21. A person is still dreaming to be a city professional. People like them, Pastor Buki and others, have redefined that. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
He's a professional. Max, you earn 4K a month, 5K maybe.
If you're lucky.
Then you go get a flat, a mortgage. Like Tofumi was saying, yes, she said then they start counting meat in their, if they meat they bought from Waitrose, is there they mark it for 1 week, and that's the vision. How can that be the sum up of a person's life? I said, now I went to good school, I've now become a professional in London City. How can that be? So it means that if we need to help the community, we need 20K.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah, I've even told some of my guys. I was saying to them, look, I appreciate that you're a professional now. You've got a new job and the salary, but come and speak to me once you've had your 1 year there, and then we'll now talk.
Nowhere to go, because that's just temporary to make you dock and know how to. Is there a way here? Is there a way here? And once you not find it, you have sit to so for a while, but then you run off. Because we started meeting. You know, when we gave up on profession, when we first started meeting so-called professionals, we were happy, like, oh, wow, he's a professional, blah, 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 bank. Then we started knowing them more. And you're seeing people saying, I'm tired. Like, what are you guys doing? I've been here for 25 years. I don't know where to go. And think, oh, wow. So that's where it all will end.
Yeah.
So leadership opens up our mind. And if you've sold, that's the word I've got to use, your life to this, you'll follow it wholeheartedly. If you've not, you're just wasting your time because it's still not going to work. you're just gonna realize that you waste your time following anything. Then you'll blame us later. The problem is the best place you can blame us is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And already people are already thinking, yeah, whatever, man. You're just gonna waste your own life unless you've determined
Yeah, so.
that even if it's so-called wrong, we'll say wrong, they do this, they do that.
Yeah.
Look, I will rather be wrong than be useless.
Yes, sir.
And we would not be wrong.
Yes, sir.
Because God has always proven us, right? So we lack leadership skill because we couldn't get followers.
Wow. But so this is my favorite topic, leadership. I love it so much. And I think you've been speaking subtly about inspiration, how inspiring yourself when you were talking about the treatment of an environment that you inspired yourself in a small space at the time, and you also mentioned that God, the process had to be that because you can't just arrive in a hotel because God first of all needs to see who you've become. Yeah, but then you also mentioned now about the followers that are leaders to a wider community, and you can almost see that spread. It's not like somebody needs to go out and say, okay, what community am I leading? The more we've driven for things like soul winning and financial targets, the more people have just naturally become leaders of communities. I think there was a task that I said,
naturally become leaders of those communities.
There's a task, like, for example, I'll give you the example of the studio in Northwest London now. Already you can see a community forming, but it came from the purpose, which is soul winning. So you get so obsessed with how to win souls that a community forms. People then come to you because they see that you've got a product. You're becoming a skilled worker. You've got a product to bring people in, but the main aim is to plug them into the community coordination family. So we're seeing all those skills develop, and we're also then seeing, I think I gave an example to the House of Capital the other day. I was telling them that what I want now is for all of them to become captain of 10 to start with. So you must have your community of 10 souls that you're raising and you're teaching skillfully how to do certain things.
Beautiful.
So, but that's how naturally a community forms. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you then next is this topic of leadership and what the community is missing is leadership. How then do we, as leaders, begin to fill that void? I know we are, as the Nation family, we're feeling it more, but I think it's me trying to tie service and leadership together. Because we were also speaking about the fact that when you're serving, that's the one thing you're doing, and you're making your service, you're adoring that service. I think it's sort of to try and tie the both conversations together and say, how do we push further now? Especially, I know we've been doing it for 16 years, but I know a lot of people will feel almost revamped and almost like a recommitment to what we have committed to over the last few years after yesterday. So what does a further push into this community look like for us as leaders now?
Okay. So before I answer that, what is the further push into this community? Let's say a senator.
Yes, sir.
It goes back to his constituency. We're in Britain, so let me use MP. So this is the MP of Beckton, for example. He's only an MP in Beckton, meaning he's a leader in Beckton, because it belongs to Conservative Party. So he follows Conservative to be able to lead Beckton. If he decides not to follow Conservative anymore and says, I'm now a man of myself, it cannot be their leader.
Yes, sir.
So that's just to simplify that you're a leader in your ward because you follow a party, in this case, Spark Nation, a PT, whatever. Then you go back to your constituency and you lead it. The problem the world is having, especially UK, because you have so many black young people just emerging, makeup artists, then what happens is, unknown to them, there's no process of fame or prosperity that does not hit roadblock. It is not about the fact that you succeeded, and I appreciate the hard work that it took you to be successful. The problem is you're unprepared for what hits you along the way.
Yeah.
Because you don't belong to any party. So it all comes down at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the time you take over because you're prepared. Your whole life is built around the problems that come up along the way. So how do you then push? Let me give you practical systems now. True to horse now.
Yeah.
You have another 3 months for another Sunday service. About anything can change, but speaking now, 3 months.
2 to 3 months, yeah.
2 to 3 months now. Leadership, two things are important. Sows seed for us.
Yes, sir.
And someone may come from outside and say, I don't agree with that. The kingdom of heaven is important. And I say, yeah, you go to heaven. You go and be playing ahead with God. You must be bored because this one that you're saying, you want to go and be playing with him. But we will take the earth as he asks us to subdue, not to run to me.
Yeah.
So you've got those 3 months to ask yourself 2 questions. In those 3 months, PT, so don't let me use Spanish before charity starts sitting down counting money that they didn't raise with you and asking you to give it to them. Imagine you give and someone says, this is the queen's you're thinking, does she not have enough already? Anyways, so you have those 3 months and then PT again, PT, this PT. And say, oh, in those 3 months, we want to raise 750K. Yeah.
Yes,
That's target. Then we want to go for another 1,000 plus. Then that's leadership.
Yes, sir.
In your own leading world, the question is, one, as a person now, what is my contribution in that? I'm saying, okay, yeah, out of the 750, I'm going to do 100. Out of the 750, I'm going to do 150. That's me.
Yeah, yeah.
Or out of the 750, I'll do 100 pounds. That's wherever you are in your journey in life and whatever pushes you. In those souls, I'm going to do 10. Like you said, then you bring that to your family. Your family brings it to the bigger organization or the family itself. That's you following a thing. If you sit down with that thing, what I just said, in your own head of head, it will look like, how does this make my own life prosper? No, it's not about your own life prosper. It is about the fact that you have an assignment.
Yes, sir.
And that assignment is sharpening your skill, is actually showing God what you've become.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing. That's the power of it. That's you're becoming a leader of something, living for a purpose. Otherwise, you will be busy with many things that are the least productive things in this world, and they will look as if they are productive.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll think about your friend's birthday, what to wear to the friend's birthday. You will not think of what to wear to church in the next 3 months. You will think of next week. No, 3 months is what you're thinking. And in the midst of that, things happen for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So to force in court, to push this space through is to always have divine project. And I've seen people who have asked me this one, what's the next project? So I'm saying it now. That's project to us.
Yeah.
Because what you need to do within the next 12 months, progressively building, is to do a concert in the O2.
Yeah.
But for you, you have more hard work than musicians because they already have a platform.
Yeah.
People don't just go to church. They go to musical stuff. People go to things that don't benefit them at all. Spiritually or mind-wise. That's where they go.
Yeah.
That's what they like. They like fast food. That's where they go. So for you to push something through, because like how you've packed the place field yesterday, how you've done your things, those are your statements. Those are your life statement. And one by one, certain relevant media begin to pick it up and say, wow. And if it is that one person that was inspired, that's who needs to be inspired. Because a lot would happen from that one person. So it is divinely programmed projects things that God ordained by himself, things that makes a statement for God part time. It would also make you overlook your fault, meaning you can have fault or you can have shortcomings but you're focused on, they've given us a target. And that's why I said nothing can go wrong with your field. So tying service with leadership. Real leadership is service. To serve.
Yes, sir.
Everything we've done yesterday, from myself to yourselves, guys, was service.
Yes, sir.
We went home. A few hours sleep, and we're here as if nothing happened. It's service. Plus everyone walking around the team and different things that you may be doing in your own houses too that may not be as popular as this now. But you were hard working all through the weekend, and now we've started it. That is leadership.
Yes, sir.
You lose yourself in that world. All PT needs to keep doing to protect your own service and your own seed is to just continue to be selfless. You don't need me to be holy. It's God that needs that, not you. It's not, how perfect is he? It's not. That's not what blesses you. Is to be selfless, because it's based on that we cast visions, that we speak about visions. And as long as that's there, your investment is protected. So you must see what you do as your life investment into something. And I know that's how many of you see it already, but I think I cannot overemphasize the adoration of the things that you're given now.
Yes, sir.
The adoration of it.
And that's one of the things. I can imagine there should be questions from people for this segment, though, because that's one of the things that has really sort of got me in this conversation is that adoration bit. And you did say we won't be able to do all of them today, but you did say there are 5 areas in which we should really focus on. But you've mentioned one out, the treatment of our environment, and then you also mentioned relationship as well. So you've gone through certain things. I know that, and I'm going to take questions as there are. I see some comment here. When we talk about when we were talking about the destination of what we will become, and you already know that what you're going to become is a PT. The expression might be different, but that's what you're going to become. Then, and I also see.
Let me say something with that, because that would offend Christians because they want to be Christ. And I ask the simple question: what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because even Paul said, "Be ye followers of me as I follow Christ."
Yes, sir.
Because Paul understood that unless they see someone relevant to their current life and world, what is Christ? So we can only pray for our leaders to keep following Christ as we follow them.
Yes, sir.
Not all these rebellious children tantrums masqueraded under religious beliefs.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I want to be like Christ. Then you and people who say these things a lot, you ask them, but you backbite a lot. You gossip. You are a very sneaky person.
Yeah.
Because when you say I want to be like Christ, we cannot hold you accountable because that's so vague.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't know how anyway. So I just need to reemphasize that when we say that, and this is no evangelism tool, you can't go to Windsor and say, I just want to be like Peter. You come and it's silly. They won't understand that. It doesn't make sense.
And that was exactly my thought as well, because sometimes we have, of course, we have biblical expressions which tell us the same thing, but we also have to now accept, and the community, wider community and us as people have to accept the fact that we actually live in a humanity that works by example.
Yeah.
And we can't keep telling people to example something that's invisible.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
And I love the question when you say, I don't think you've seen Jesus.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, even before now, the church would say, okay, well, you wanna pray till you see Christ and all of those kind of things. But
we all did that, by the way. But later we started asking ourselves, when you finally see Christ, you'll see your leader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You'll see you.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll leave that. You'll understand that later in
to
life.
leave that to a Thursday.
I have to.
But
Yeah.
so I'm realizing that what needed to happen is that we need to create a leadership, a role model community.
Yeah.
That can be shown to the world. And then you have a family and you have a church.
Yeah.
Because before now, you have a church that comes out with a pastor
Yeah.
that then begins to say, hey, Jesus is Lord. But then we can't see the reflection of or the interaction between the church and the community from there. But there was some things you said over the last few days, either in word or some things like, number one thing that you said was, a pastor is the reflection of his community.
100.
You know, and I think we were talking, myself, Pastor Onyi, and Pastor Dami on Friday, and we were actually saying to ourselves that, you know, when we looked at the now biblical side now of what a priest was in the days of Moses, Moses was actually beginning to say things like, when you're ready to go out to war, the priest should stand and address the army before they go out to war. So we now begin to see that those were the representations of God to a community then. So we have to get back to the space of role model society that is able to say, yes, I am the link between you and God. So I think the next phase of leadership for us, and when we're talking about leadership, like the way we're talking about leadership, is that what you have become.
Yeah.
Almost like when, even if you want to define the God version of leadership, is everybody just looking to what are you willing to become within the sphere of things.
Yeah.
And then also coming back down to the practicality of the souls and seed.
Yeah.
I think those projects, and me talking both by words but also by demonstration as well, the practicality of those projects are unreal, because everybody's purpose is actually hidden in those things.
True.
And it's the same example that you gave with meeting the jewelers.
Yeah.
It was also hidden in the fact that you were looking for money to give.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's almost like life begins to express itself to us when we express our desire to do the things that we have been commanded to do within purpose.
That's correct.
So I kind of see those things. My life now revolves around it, and I know people don't really see transition. They just see where you are. They see the external.
100%.
So when I say that, I say, yeah, of course, Pastor Sam, your life will revolve around it because you're Pastor Sam.
Yeah.
But but the truth of the matter is, we've seen the evolution of leaders because of just those two things.
Yeah.
And I think the contributing factor now for everybody watching, especially, and I'm going to give time for those who have questions. The contributing factor for everybody watching now is to believe the things that they don't see, rather than the things that they do see, because social media is a world that can make it look like things are happening.
Yeah.
But I go back to that statement of,
and that's what it's built for.
And that's what it's built for.
Yeah.
But the things that you don't see are the real content. So that I can't get over that thing of, you don't see what's in people's accounts.
Yeah.
So now you've got a whole world, which we utilize as well. We've got a whole world that is based on what people wear.
Yeah.
And how they look.
Yeah.
You know. But I feel like now it's almost like we're transitioning to that point where we are now the ones that would then influence how people see things.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that we now look like them as well.
That's correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to
you have a great opportunity more than ever before to influence that.
Yeah.
Your ruggedity level must just increase.
And so I put in the notes this morning, I just put it as simple. I couldn't put it any other way. We have an opportunity to do something great.
We do.
Yeah.
You guys do. And I keep saying you because I've done what I need
sir.
to.
Yes, sir.
You do. The world, either they press like or not, they're watching every single thing.
Yes, sir.
They are there, all of them. And so you don't go back watching them. Know that they're watching you and just do your thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do it to the best ability. and just leave it. Because they're watching. And they're not just watching to be entertained. They want to be inspired. They want to live better. But there has to be a set of people who can model that. So imagine my greatest dream will be like, so to speak, greatest, will be like, imagine being able to raise 200 real role models, powerful role models. I'm not talking about quiet people in the corner saying, even to my children, I'm a role model, I'm a world leader to my children. Yeah, right. No, I want better than that.
Sir.
200 real role models, black, young, white, young, Caucasian, Arab, young, Somalian, young, powerful, and that know Christ.
Yes, sir.
Amazing stuff. And that believe in family system. You know, if anyone wants to offend me, just go against family system. For me, if you're a Muslim and you're the greatest fornicator and adulterer and you believe in the family system, I'm happy. Don't tell me you are born again. You saw Jesus yesterday, but you see all this family thing. In so family, they ate me. I'm already thinking, no, man, no, don't say it, don't do it, because what was missing in our community was family. Imagine the guy saying, you know what shook me a lot yesterday? He said, what? He said, I saw guys with jeans down jeans. I said, yeah, but that's not. I said, their jeans was really down, Tobi, you know. He said, yeah, but that's what we see every day. He said, I can't believe it. He said, so with their father not tell them to put, I said, father. We have good fathers in the community, amazing father, but many of these fathers are drug dealers too. And someone says, my father mashed someone yesterday. Like, huh? Said he messed him up. I said, what? Said, yeah, we were selling drugs, me and my dad. Like, their fathers like, so he doesn't know.
Yes, sir.
So, but you can't blame such kid as well, because he's not been exposed to anything. Exposure is everything. Leadership is to expose us to possibilities and places. So that would be my own greatest dream. I'll be happy to just stay in an island and not preach for years if I see strong role models from 15 to 60 years, 70-year-olds taking that community. Not just by talking. People think role modeling is talking, just going about saying, life is, you don't understand life. You're just complicating my life, bro. So that for me is leadership. And it doesn't, everything we've said today, doesn't cost you to do more. It's just be more. Be. Like, I challenge people most times and say, look, make so assignment or project your focus for the next 3 months and see if your life doesn't change. It's just that there are many hidden things that you've put in your head. So when you look away to a PT or a PSAM or that when you go back to your own space, many things are battling you. There is nothing you should not be able to say out. Nothing. To certain people, not everybody, not going on social media and talking your business, but to certain people in your life. Even if it pertains to them. So knowing that there is, and I've said this many times, in growth now, there's nothing anybody can tell me that can be like, oh, wow. I'm just like, okay, but this is how we fix this. This is what it do. Okay, I get that feeling. I know your feeling, and it's fine. It's just what it is. That's growth. And that makes it means that you'll be able to travel light. You travel with too many pain. And these are pains you should convert to prosperity. So to own this space, to be the world leaders that God has made you, because you are world followers. Everybody knows about Spark, and they know the people that are there are followers. They are on it. Until people start thinking, let me carve out. And I wanted to say this on Thursday. People say, a time is going to come out. Just say, PT, $1 million is ready. Bam. And people have that feeling, and I get it, and I appreciate it. You want to give. But guess what? It would happen. But guess what? It won't happen. Communication, conversation is how you get there. Not trying to carve out something and say, I'm going to go and do something. And God knows my heart is just one day, sir, I'm just going to call you and say, I'm thinking, I know how these things work. It's meant to happen. It's destined to happen.
Yes, sir.
But there are certain content and conversations that would have to happen for that to happen.
Yes, sir.
So this followership is real leadership. So if you're following in the nation family, you're already past the 99% of followers or people in the world. Because there are the places you go to, the things that you're exposed to, the challenges. The only way to wealth is your targets. That's the only way. Otherwise, why are you going to make money? You're just going to be a professional. There's no, if you don't have need for 20K to go out of you every month, then why should you make it? Psychologically, you won't. You won't. This is leadership.
Let me see if there's any comments on the screen now, so that, because you know me, when I start hearing leadership, I can just go in and I can hijack this whole conversation. I'm going to give you time to ask questions. So I'll probably just do about 4 or 5 questions today as we round. I know we're over the 2 hours already, but I'll just do some few questions if there are any. If there aren't, then I'm guessing you understand. You know, we say that sometimes. But then, so I'll ask one more question while we're waiting for these questions, because for someone like me, especially in the position that I am in, to be leading a set of people, but also to be following acutely, I understand the fact of content and conversations now. I get it. And most times it's almost like until you're ready to deal with those contents and conversations, until you're ready to accept that those contents and conversations are needed, you will desire to be that person that brings the million or brings 2 million, but there will be roadblocks because the certain alignments that are needed are not there.
Yeah.
So that brings me on to my question on assignment and leadership. How to carry out certain assignments when given to you. Yeah. Because, of course, it's a personal question, but then it's a question for the whole of the nation. No matter how big or small assignments are, how to carry out the assignments as followers and leaders at the same time. When you look at assignments, what do you expect to see? How do you carry the assignment that is given to you? And it's easy to say, well, just watch a PT and know that assignment, but what are the first things you think about when you think of your assignment? How do you protect it and how do you carry it?
You look at the people, and yes, it can be a Pastor Sam today, but before Pastor Sam were other people that don't even look what we will call promising. But you look at the people, every move you make, every action, even if you're going to do a wrong thing, whatever that means, you're thinking about the consequence of it on your followers or the people who believe in you. And that might be one person, now it's grown to hundreds of people or thousands, whatever. But you're thinking of them. And the same thing must happen from the follower to the leader. You're thinking, because the reason why we lived reckless is because we didn't consider people around us. But it was nice and our body demanded it at the time. And it is part of our growth. So it's not about feeling guilty. It's about growing. And someone comes to me and say, I want to repent of this sin. I'm saying, look, your repentance is between you and God. Or you can't talk about it. But I'm not concerned that you did that or didn't do that. I'm concerned that, are you growing? And there's no such thing as you fully grown. You are now perfect. No, I get all of that. But it is still about adoring one's assignment. Because it will give you power over sensual feelings. I didn't say you won't fall for sensual feelings. You're human, like I am, and I keep saying this thing. But you will be able to self-control because of assignment and because of the things around you and the people that will struggle if you get it wrong. Those are the core of leadership. Leaders, how old are you, Sarah Adama? How is she a leader? Because she's able to say, yeah, I may be a beautiful girl, but the moment she starts thinking, if I do this, it affects the family, it affects the people that look at it, whatever that may be, from the mundane to the big. If the moment she starts thinking about that, guess what? She's already a world-class leader.
Yes, sir.
Straight away. There is no two ways about it. The moment she can think like that, because normal young person don't think like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't. That's leadership. So we can sit in leadership classes all we like until people begins to think, and I'm being careful not to use the word responsibility. I don't want us to just close it on, oh yeah, I should be a responsible guy.
Yeah.
No, it's more than that.
Yes,
Because responsibility would then put a lot of burden on you.
Yeah.
You say, I'm so responsible for many people. No, a leader just pause a bit
Yeah.
and say, yeah, but I've got things and people at stake.
Yeah.
That will let you protect that assignment. That's on the downside again. But on the better side is the fact that as a leader, you're able to also know that up to the point of your shoe
Yeah.
and the minor,
Yeah.
you're inspiring someone.
Yes, sir.
They need to stay inspired because they're seeing you. And shoe or clothes is not expensive
Yeah.
because what people wear is designer.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there are many musicians and people wearing designers that PT is wearing. But the only difference is, ask them, what's your message?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the message? So if you like, you can go and dress like a masquerade. Without a message,
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's just clothes. The reason why PT's different is I've got a message.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the message of a musician? That music is good? No, we're saying you're a rapper, musician today. There were some before you.
Yeah.
They're gone. Another will come. Our children won't listen to you.
Yeah.
Your junior brothers that are 5, 6, 7, they won't listen to who you are adoring today. They'll just say, who is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. So, but messages are everlasting. So everyone in the nation are messages. Whatever move we make, whatever we do. So it's leadership already. And if you carry that, if you adore that, then it qualifies you for bigger space.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew this much at 16, 15, but nobody taught us. There was no stagnation. So I said to the Love House girls yesterday, I said, even at 25,
Yeah.
I wish there was a podcast like this done by people that I can touch, that I can relate with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not far away people. Like pastors are here, members are here. So even if they advise us, we can't feel them. We don't know them. We know the advice is good. They're trying to say, we like you, be a good person so that you can do well for yourself. But we can't touch them.
Yeah.
We can't feel what they feel. We can't feel their humanity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a person whose humanity you cannot feel cannot really lead you through. You can be inspired temporarily by them.
Yeah.
But you can't feel them. So I said, I wish at 25, I wish I had this. I didn't, and I didn't know where this was going. I just know that my heart takes a path, and I'm just going to follow, even if it is wrong. I will bear the consequence of it. So I had to pledge allegiance and say to the path I found allegiance, and I'm if life don't go well, I would be able to tell myself it's what I chose for me.
Yes, sir.
It's not that somebody did me dirty in life. No, I chose it. I chose it. Like you said, to that person, if you're saying you're going to serve leadership now, you can't complain. Don't come back tomorrow and start saying, well, so even they didn't help me when. I was making a joke yesterday. I said, I've heard in the past, not from this house. People say, someone said, yeah, you can't believe it. My church is a family church, but when I was moving house, nobody came to help me. Nobody. They didn't help. I said, let me tell you, they just didn't like the house you are moving into. Have you seen when P.O. was moving into his house? Do you see people volunteering? They like the house. Make bread. Stop complaining on stupid emotional menopause outbursts. Stop. Just stop it. Don't make it into a thing. It's not a thing. Chill. That didn't help me more. If the house was nice, we will all. If your pastor will be dragging the
Yes,
suitcase. And then the pastor will say, I'm a servant of the people.
Yes.
Because he wants to see the house. Stop being a little mind. Stop being a child. Stop being little minded and emotionally. Just everything just sums down to emotions. No, make money. And when people around you, when you have success, don't say, yeah, they only are here because I'm successful. That's fine. It's
fine.
okay.
Exactly.
Allow humans to be humans. We live in a human
You're
world.
supposed to be successful so that the people can even come.
Exactly, and they'll be inspired. If you're
exactly.
moving into this house, I want to carry the boxes. I want to come and help you fix. As PT, I don't mind. I'm happy. But now you're moving to a place where when we carry box, someone will stab us downstairs. So that's why they didn't come. Chill. Oh, but they should be there with me during rain and sunshine. No, they've just saying that this rain is going to be everlasting. This rain has no hope. That's why they just
damage to this rain.
Yeah, so don't allow human beings to be human beings. We have a way of people have a way. Yeah, there are people that will be better and above that.
Yeah.
But most people are not. Don't make it into something. I think there is.
A couple questions. Let
go
me
for
read
it.
them. Good afternoon, PT. What do you do when there is not enough motivation to achieve a target? How do you sharpen focus and increase inner drive?
You must be your first motivator. That's why I don't understand how they will be mobilizing someone to sow.
Yeah.
Of course, they will mobilize sometimes you don't have and you're trying to get things together. I get that. But we're already sowers. You can't motivate a PT to be excellent.
Yeah.
That's all I think of. Excellence. Because I know that will keep you inspired.
Yeah, so.
If I'm leaving the house, I'm thinking of excellence. I'm not thinking of the frivolities of it. Then people can see the frivolities of it and start doing their own thing. But I'm motivated. I'm mobilized. Yes, you will have certain down days. That's why I said humans must be allowed to be humans.
Yes,
It's not, look, if you have weaknesses, and I think I've been saying this since Thursday, if you have shortcomings, you are human. It's fine.
Yeah.
When we get to the apostolic side, we're saying, but for you to enter certain level of grace, it won't be fine. But it's fine. You cannot overcome weaknesses by guilt. So allow humans to be human. So you will have down days. But most of your days must be inspiring and motivating. And how you do that is stay around inspiring people. Don't stay around emotional relationships. So I'm thinking for the service we have yesterday, and it's not like I'm exerting physical energy towards it, but there are just people that have been calling me for the last 2-3 weeks, and I've not been picking. You understand? I'm not just speaking. It's not because I need my focus and thought on something. They are not evil people. I've spoken to one or two of them this way. Oh, sorry. But people will adjust you, pull you to their own focus. Imagine a pastor texting me yesterday, can we talk? You knuckle blank head. I don't care if you say you're a pastor or whatever. So you didn't see that we're mobile. We're in church.
Yeah.
And I know you're about to beg for freaking money. Yeah. This is how you guys live. And you're laying hands on people, you know. People are coming to your church believing. What do you mean, can we talk? It's just, you're just a selfish person. Just focus. So you can't even watch a PT page. So no, I don't mind people asking for money. Yeah. I'm just thinking, how do you not even know? You're texting me in the middle of, can we talk? Sir, can we quickly talk? I'm thinking, really? Even unbelievers are in church to support what we're doing. You're there. Unbelievers that don't beg us for money. You beg for money. You still don't know what we're doing. I said all that to say that people pull you to their own focus. They pull you there. So it has to be you saying no. I mean, the Nation family, I mean, Inspire House, I mean, so this is our focus. And sometimes it will mean you blank some people for a while. So I said, that's why I always block this guy. You know? That's why. Because when people have problems, that problem is their whole world. That's their focus. Then I chose to say, you know what? to keep alive and to keep at the cutting edge of what God is doing. There are just some things you blank out. Whatever they want to say, whatever they don't want to say. I won't hide all the names, but it's just what it is. It's the focusing ability in the space of assignment and followership, which is ultimately leadership.
That leads us to our next question. You said in the past that you don't learn disciples.
So stay, just to make sure we stay around people that keep your focus and keep your motivation and keep you inspired.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't have to be a large group of people. You understand? It has to be a right group, not large group.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And keep your focus so that when you, if you're down and you enter a Thursday service in the house, when you see the setup, you are inspired.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I know because it's studio services, you may not be able to. But on most of the same way in your family house, when you come around it, it must be inspiration stuff. Because that will make you spend time without knowing you're spending time and moving towards success.
Okay, so we'll go into the next question, which says, you said in the past you don't learn discipleship / followership, you contract it. What would stop this?
No, what will stop it is not looking. Let me tell you why. If I've said now, I was watching Pastor Sam yesterday, excellent world-class behavior and coordination, no doubt, but a pity is to say, but no. If he comes to me and says, yes, sir, can you just tell me the areas that I need to improve? Ultimately, I'm thinking, no. It's either you want to hear or see. Contracting is by looking.
Yes, sir.
So don't ask me to tell you more. I'm asking you to look more.
Yes, sir.
So what will stop it? Increase seeing, whatever you keep seeing, because people can see a PT, but you can see another PT because you're focusing, you're looking at the minute details that others will not look at. That's how you contract something. But if you're just always sitting there saying, tell me areas of improvement, you will hear, but you will not see. Because once I tell you, you're not going to look keenly. So there are things I still do today, and I still have to keep doing because I'm trying to tell your leaders, this is how this is done. But if they are busy hearing and looking left, they won't see, and that will frustrate me. Because I'm saying, no, I'm doing so that you can see. The more you see, the less we have to talk. I have to talk because I preach a lot. So as to character, content of character, see, look, you will see. If you keep looking at something, you start behaving like that thing.
Sir.
Have you seen yourself dancing before? It is not the dancer that influenced you. You looked at them. They didn't come to tell you be doing your leg like this and all that. No, you're just looking. And all of a sudden, that skill just came into you and you know how to do those stuff. That's how you contract spirits or grace, is by looking. Whatever you keep looking at, you will become.
Yes, sir. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. So those are the questions I think that we see. I hope I haven't missed any question, or if there is any question, you can ask quickly. But honestly, I think in total, when we talk about this conversation, from reviewing yesterday's service to talking about leadership, and the project that is ahead of us for the next 3 months, which has always been our same project, but I think people are enthusiastic to get it. I see a question here. You said you are not an emotional person.
I didn't say so. I think it might have sounded that way, but I'll clarify that.
Yeah, so you said you're not. How do you empathize with people and not absorb their emotions? How do you keep your mind and heart in check so you stay focused?
I'm an emotional person because I'm a human being.
Yes, sir.
But emotions are spiritual, meaning they are not physical. How I then carry out the emotion, it is not the feeling of the emotion that tells me how to then behave.
Yes.
So even if something breaks my heart, it doesn't mean I'll start crying. I may not cry. That doesn't mean I'm not emotional. I'll empathize with people by doing, not by crying and sitting down there helpless. It makes you even feel more bad that there's a situation that you cannot help. Have you ever been in that position? You see something and you wish you can change 100%. It, but you can't. my emotion then drives me back to use that pain to make myself able to solve that problem.
Yes, sir.
And that may take me another 5-6 years to build capacity or finances or power to be able to heal that situation. That's how I empathize. My empathy is to go back to into myself and build what it takes to solve the problem, not just to stand there crying.
Yes, sir.
So how I express my emotion may be different from, so people call emotional because they express it in a certain way, which I'm not saying is good or bad. I'm just saying someone tells me, oh, I just succeeded at da, or I just bought this. I really want them to feel joy, and I hope they understand that I feel joy for them, but just because I'm not jumping up and saying, it doesn't mean I'm not feeling them.
Yeah.
It just means that the way I express myself, and that's where people get into trouble with relationship, because they've gone to this guy and they are in relationship and they say, you are not romantic enough. Now, romance for them is what they've seen on television. So sometimes we say, no, it's not that I'm not romantic enough. I'm not just Will Smith enough for you. I'm not just, what's another actor that I like now? I'm not just Bruce, whatever, I don't know. I'm not just that enough for you. I'm not your favorite actor. Or Angelina Jolie enough for you. That's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
How I express my own emotions are different. It's different.
Yeah.
And of course, as you grow, you also have to express it in a way people can appreciate. That's why I developed the word wow. Or put favor on it. And it's not that I'm faking it. I'm just saying, okay, I really want you to know that I'm impressed.
It's
but
your preferred
the way,
choice of expression.
The way you're looking at me, you're thinking, oh, so is that not something to you? I'm thinking it is a lot of things to me. It's just that I'm not the guy who will jump. They've brought me cars before, Rolls Royce, and I'm just in my room saying, wow, that's good. That should be impressive. I'm like, I'm impressed. I just can't be bothered right now. That's the issue. But I also have to be human. I say, wow, but you're putting pressure on.
Yes, sir.
So we are all emotional humans. We are. But we feel emotions in different ways, and we empathize in different ways. So to now get to your question, how do you keep your mind? No, how do you absorb people's emotions? By doing what solves it, and by letting them know, I get you. I know where you are, and I honestly feel you. Be true to how you absorb it.
Yeah.
But the practicality of how you then solve it is, it may take you time. Don't get frustrated to be able to prefer solution to their problem. And it may not even be the same person that has that issue at the time that you're going to solve that problem for. But you will know that in the next 5 years, I'll be able to solve this. You take that thing in and you build on it.
So powerful. You know, I'm sitting here thinking about an iconic word you preached some years ago now, raising a nation. Pastor Onyi absolutely loves that word. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is just to actually point us in a certain direction as we begin to conclude. There's something you said in passing at that time, and I think it was your first message on raising a nation at that time. And you said one of the things we're looking at is the church of solution, the church of economic power.
That's right.
And the church of influence. So what this conversation does is to work out the details of how to develop people into that realm, because we can see we're leading into that realm already 100%. Naturally.
Yeah.
But I think there are some details that we continuously repeat that get us into that cycle.
Absolutely.
And it is economic power and influence that we can see the nation family is moving into now.
Yeah.
So it's to emphasize the project that we have after an amazing service yesterday is good. And I think we are mature enough to know that enthusiasm, we accept it.
Yeah.
But we never make monuments around an occasion.
Yeah.
It is actually just the energy that is driven from the results from that occasion We praise God, but we ride on that energy to the next task.
Absolutely.
Which is the targets ahead of us as a community.
Yeah.
And to continue to push further into the community. And we know that to do that is two things, souls and seed.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that is how I will conclude. I know there's some things that will pop up next that we will talk about, and I will also have a conversation with you about after. But for me, those are the two major projects. So I will allow you to give your remarks and your address. So.
Thank you. For the last 16 years, the SPAC Nation or Nation Family project has always been souls and seed.
Yes, sir.
In different forms. So I've seen this go from 200 to 200,000 to 2 million, whatever. Over the next 3 months, we're going to do 750K.
Yes, sir.
That's the assignment. But every minute, every week, we're looking at the next church service. In court, church service, that could then come in format of concert or whatever it wants to come in. But I've just seen a church that meets just 4 times a year.
Yes,
now,
sir.
the groups, all the families have to then come up with their own meeting style.
Yes, sir.
And when the time is right, the studio service that I preach at, I'll just cut it off or reduce it so that you can have your services in your own way.
Yes, sir.
There's no Jupiter that can stop me from having those garden services. No Jupiter in the world. I want to see, not even the worst neighbor from hell. Going to see canopy and make from 50 to 100 people just sit in the garden and do their thing. So all I'm saying with this is, and like you rightly said, you're moving into the space of the things that I said in that raising a nation. And look at me. You will be it. Number one, God has shown me, and system and structure has shown me. You will be here. You're saying, being what? The biggest influence and the biggest money holders and distributors. It will happen. Even those who are watching and saying, how can this be for me? It will be. By you just simply follow.
Yes, sir.
And someone can say, oh, they're brainwashing them. Look. There are many people that are your leaders now that I brainwashed. There are many people out there now that I wasn't able to brainwash. Compare their life and then choose which one would I, brainwashing or living this brain the same way. Someone's whose is brain dead is telling me, they're brainwashing you. I'm thinking, you're brain dead, bro. Like your argument, what you spew out is brain dead talk. It's nonsense. Even so, I'm not able to brainwash. We have to replace your brain completely. This community brain needs to be replaced. So when we see result, and this person is not saying, come and be scrubbing my shoe, come and be, what's my own with that? And you say, oh, they're just brainwashing you. It makes no sense. So I said all that to say that it is different groups building lives for the next 3 services. 4 services a year we have to build for. 4. And looking at the target of those services, looking at the souls of those services. And maybe I'll leave this till later, but this is the call of God over us. And it is in the middle of those projects that you become millionaires. As light as someone may take that, you take it lightly to your own detriment. Because again, the word and what I've seen, people just don't stay at a thing. That's the problem. And staying at a thing may be 20 years. And the reason why they don't stay at it is they say, I can't see a future in this thing. You really think the things that are more activity, that's future? It's not future.
Yes, sir.
See where it ended the people there. So this is our project. We should have family houses that do their cinema things, like we said, be innovative, keeping people, growing people. Then a time comes that there's a general service. We've announced it now. It's in 2 to 3 months' time. And so you have your own plan, your own everything planned out. Of course, dates may change. Anything can happen, but you have those. We need 4 services a year that gathers over 20,000 people. Then we need many other services that it is the God giving us opportunity to be creative. So a church might decide we just need 60 people this Sunday to be in Ivy for breakfast. That's our own church service. or in blah 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 this Sunday to be at da 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 da. That's our own service. That's all we do.
Yes, sir.
Then there's the general assembly, and the Bible calls it the general assembly of the saints. So if you know something is 3 months, 2 months ahead, you can't be in another country. It's the assembly of the
Yes, sir.
nation. Say, I'm watching from America. How? It's the assembly. That's your family. But again, that's what time will do. So allow us to, in quote, plan.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying bank on that. So,
Yes, sir.
but so it is God's call over us now. 3 months must be like 3 days to us. If we still run Sunday service studio setting, it's because your leaders are not coming up with what is creative enough for me to say, you know what, I like this. But I don't want a Sunday where there's empty. You just sleep on Sunday morning. I say, no, we'll meet on Tuesday. No, it's not going to work. It means you're dying. You're going to be dying and you're going to be saying, we're alive. No. I want to see him preach. I want to see your own creativity. 7 places.
Yes,
You
sir.
have 100, or 60, 70, 100. Then you know they are being creative and it costs you not money. You're
Yes, sir.
looking for the lowest budget because you're planning for the 750K target.
Yes, sir.
This is what God has called us to do. Meanwhile, in the meantime, we'll just keep doing whatever God asks us to do in the sense of, if God says go on Billboard, I'll just go. If God says go to a rapper's meeting, I'll just go. Because what God has put me in position to do is to just keep you being relevant.
Yes, sir.
So the world is seeing you. They're seeing what you're up to. They know you're there. And again, I must use this opportunity, of course, to thank everybody because everyone is working in different dimensions.
Yes, sir.
From the pillars, all the way to the nation builders. That's the children department. They change it from legacy to nations.
Yes, sir.
To everybody. So it will be pride to think that what you're doing is not sin. Someone will say, oh, it's that pride. It is. It is sin as long as you seen a service like yesterday or you see services in the studio from the ladies that pack the wires. I was there. I was at the setup on Saturday night.
sir.
And many other of the leaders were in the setup on Sunday morning. We're all there. So there's nobody whose work is not sin. But let me tell you, sometimes sin to man is not sin to God. Where you're seated is where your millions will come to meet you because it may not look like work to you. It is work to heaven.
Yes, sir.
And they'll pay you. And that's what God is going to do. So there is nothing happening over the next 3 months. There's no wedding. There's no friend's birthday. It is just that.
Yes, sir.
Build up to that.
Yes, sir.
So Paul's must build up their 250 souls to that. Build up, connecting them in any which way they see fit, in their own most creative way, effective.
Yes, sir.
Inspire must do this.
Yes, sir.
Power Base must do the same.
Yes, sir.
Elite must do the same. Capital must do the same. Connect City must do the same.
Yes, sir.
COD must do the
Yes,
same.
sir.
Doing their thing and focusing. You will not lack. You will not lack God's blessing for a day. You will not lack finances, money for a day.
Yes, sir.
Unless you are out of purpose. You are in purpose and the blessings will be there.
Yes, sir.
That's what God is going to do. So the only people that will lack that blessing are people who will look at it and say, well, it's 3 months. You know those who prepare seed late last minute, those who are last minute stuff, it won't work.
Yes, sir.
Got to do it as if it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's how God blesses what we do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And then, of course, it's a very big thank you to all the soldiers in the nations as usual.
Soul snatchers.
Soul snatchers, yes, sir. Hope dealers, of course, for that energy. Powerful things. Did we find the video at all? Yeah.
Thank you. If you play the video
Yeah.
now, we can then round up with the
Yes, sir.
thanks to everybody.
Yeah.
And when you're ready. So soul
Okay.
snatchers,
Yes,
hope
sir.
dealers.
Hope dealers.
Then we had the dinner here yesterday. You should have
Yes,
seen some on some of the platforms that you use. The chefs were amazing.
Yes, sir.
Kolimanchi, Chrissy Cook,
Chrissy Cooks and
T.
T.
Simone.
Yeah.
Amazing. The
Yeah.
foods were better than all the restaurants we've ever been to. It's
Yes, sir.
unbelievable the talents in the
Yeah.
nation.
They did amazing.
They did
And it was
amazing.
good to see them combine in the kitchen for the first time.
And I've always wanted
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
that, so it
yeah.
was an opportunity.
Yeah.
The decorators,
Yes,
you,
sir.
Pastor Sam's big office, not
Yeah.
the office he uses, the staff's office
Yeah.
also.
Yes, sir.
If you see what they made of that place, you will not believe it
Mm.
ever. You will never believe it. So it's a beautiful atmosphere to see all the talents
Yes, sir.
and grace in the house, the ushering department,
Yes, sir.
the children, everyone.
Yes, of course to shepherds as well.
Shepherds,
Yeah.
protocol, the security,
Yes, sir.
shepherd, of course. Shepherd, it's like shepherd works 24 hours in a day. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And because of them now, I'm pressured to change house.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they need their rest properly. So if I come to you guys with the bill of changing house, you know why. Left to me, I'm lazy. I just like that room there. I can't even be bothered. But they need that space now. I think it has to happen.
I think
So-
in the next house, the whole nation will be there packing boxes.
Yeah, they will be there because so even, that's a pressure on me to make sure. So if you look at it and think, nah, I'm not going because it's some big pastor. No way. If I don't like the house, and so we'll be there packing boxes. We'll try our best. We'll try our humble best to make sure that we get a lucrative HQ.
Yes, sir.
A HQ that fits into what we need to do next because of the amount of activity
Yes, sir.
that needs to go on there, and then the downstairs broker took a lot from us.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we're gonna try our best.
Awesome. Are we ready for the video? Awesome. Let's do
It's
it.
gonna switch off.
This would have changed. Nothing has changed.
Nothing. I'm telling you, people are still as unborn again as they are because so people do it. I thought, oh God, you guys are still here, but it's beautiful to see.
It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So thank you, sir, once again. It's been an insightful conversation as usual. And then thank you to the Nation family. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I'm sure a lot of the family heads will then be speaking to their leaders and we're creating, first of all, creative ways to watch the studio service on Sunday till the point where some of those houses can then take over, and as long as we're doing creative services and creative things as well at the instruction of PT. So that's what we should be expect to see next in terms of Sundays happening as well. So thank you all and thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.